what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to Mikel Arteta. Let's discuss. We'll put it later. Let's discuss. We've got the wonderful full house pretty much today. We're going to start with the wonderful G. How are we doing, G?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, it's good to be back. It's been a while. Feels like forever. The new job, going back to teaching since September, is absolutely killing me. I've forgotten just how... I mean, yeah, it's good. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for the fact that obviously, because I was made redundant, so I'm grateful for the work. Obviously, a bit of a career change for me, but I forgot just how demanding it is in terms of classroom, marking, planning, etc. So me being on the screens had to take a bit of a backseat, but I'm glad to be here tonight. And I'm going to try my best to manage my time a little bit better so I can start making a few more appearances. But yeah, no, I'm all good, bro. Hopefully you are good too.
Look, my partner's a college teacher, so I know exactly what you go through with what Em goes through. So yeah, don't worry. I feel the pain. I see the pain every day with my partner. We're going to go on to Canners because Canners was second on. How are you doing, Canners?
I was the second. What, late? Is it? Or yeah.
Well, no. You know me. I like to be spot on time. You know me.
I'm good, man. So it's just been a full-on week. I can't believe it's probably Friday tomorrow already. It's just gone so quick. A week, as they say, is a long time in football, and a lot's happened since we last played, etc. But this is going to be a good therapy session, really, for me. I think to get a few demons out in the open. You know, I need a couch, I think, and something to kind of, to air my grievances as to what's going on. But I'm sure everyone else has an opinion, but it's good to be back on with you guys.
And the wonderful Gumza. How are we doing, Gumza?
I'm all good, thank you. Looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be an interesting one. When I saw the cast, when I saw the lineup, when I saw the topics, I was like, there's no way I'm missing out on this. So it feels good to be here.
You look
screen in about 5
angelic,
seconds.
Man. All white. You look all angelic.
I've got this new Arsenal number, but you can't. It's all fluorescent, so you can't see it. But it's the new little Christmas number I got. But yeah, it's that fluorescent yellow, and the white background, so you can't see it. But,
fresh, P Diddy style.
Right, before we get into the actual talking point, we need to do this.
We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild.
So we have a new signing. It is for the women's team. It is the 25-year-old American right back, left back, because Moritz is left to go to Aston Villa. So big up to Moritz, and I hope. Well, to be fair, actually, I'm going to say this, and not because it's Aston Villa. I hope you suck, to be honest, because you're at Aston Villa. You know how much I hate Aston Villa. But no, we've got a new signing, American international. So good signing. Like I said yesterday on the news show, we need to look out for Volti. Volti might leave this window. If not, she'll be leaving in the summer to Real Madrid, of all teams. So it could be well, to be fair, we got Cooney Cross. She's only 22. She's come in last summer. So I think she's going to be taken over from Volti, to be fair, because our midfield's getting quite old now. I'm saying that they're only 30, 31, but in footballing terms, that's quite old. So big up to Emily Fox, and that's our new intros for any new signings that we do make for future now. Right, there's comments have been going mental. We're already on 21 already. Tony is there with the popcorn. Live odds of Niger making this stream. 125 to 1. A big up to you. Evening, gents, and to all in chat. Big up to Brenny. Hope you're doing well, mate. Big up to Tony. Evening, chappies. I'm ready for you all. Big up to Mars. Good day. Hope informative. A very good evening to everyone, especially Bradford fans. Big up to Chris. Got my popcorn. Just going to sit back and watch Tequila behave. I know you tried to wind me up yesterday. Just so everyone knows, Tequila's a Tottenham fan. So yeah, he might be in here just to wind us up. Pick up to Luke. Thank you very much, Tequila. I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm sure they'll be very entertaining. G Talk, I've missed you doing my scores. Yeah, I had to do it last week. I didn't enjoy it, to be fair. Karasi Merrill, I would just be very careful what you believe in the media. As you have noticed, I've not mentioned anything about Borja Merrill at all. There's a reason for that. That's all I'm going to say. I've not mentioned him a single time. I've just replied to comments about it. Canners, I'll make you feel better. Gumza, I can't help you. I do have views, but I don't think you would want to hear them. Bless. Pick up to Tequila. Guys, if you had to choose one, which cuisine would you choose? Indian, Mexican, Italian, or Chinese? I'm going to answer this very quickly. Chinese for me. G?
Chinese.
Canners?
Indian.
Gumza?
Chinese all day.
There we go. Interesting. Look, we'll answer any question that come in. I don't mind. Anything just to put off this. We should play in the men's. She should play in the men's first team. Yeah. Grandma's mate down at Tequila. I told you to behave. Tequila's really naughty. Mika Berev, Bobby not happy is back. Maybe I missed it. As I've said, I've not mentioned anything about Berev due to the fact I know the truth. He's not back at Arsenal. He's come back because they've got a winter break in Scotland. So he's come back to to train with us. That's it.
That's so misleading, isn't it? The pictures of him in training and everybody try and put two.
Because we own him.
We're 5.
Because we own him, he wasn't going to have a holiday, so he came back to us. And obviously, he can't train in his Motherwell kit whilst at London Colney. So, so that's the reason. But look, I know everyone wants to believe everything that they read on social media. Just be careful what you do believe sometimes. Sorry, evening. In restaurant, Indian as a takeaway, Chinese. Yeah, I actually agree with that. In a restaurant, it's Indian. I don't particularly like Indian takeaways. They always come to me not very nice. If you go to the restaurant itself,
I'll make you right on that.
Yeah, it's heavenly. So can we bring him back for Bobby Mika as Jesus a bit injured again? He's back training today. As if I don't comment on it, I guarantee you it's not a big injury. So yeah, Jesus is already back at training, like Timber is as well. For everyone that hasn't heard the news, I'm in very good mood. Bradford fans rattled their keeper, joined us, throwing insults at me. It's too funny, and I won my first local darts league game, 5-0, comfortable, easy win to start. Well done, Chris. Well done for winning your darts match. Knee injury, and Jesus. No, he's not injured. It's not a big injury. Like I said, I didn't comment on it because it's just not worth talking about. Right. How are we feeling, gentlemen? Because I'm going to stitch you up a bit. You know that because you know me. I'm the creator of the challenge.
Yeah. Not warn me about that.
No, don't worry. There's no challenge of Arteta's signings where you have to put them all in a team. There's no. But what we're going to talk about firstly. Now, I've done this. So this is the stats from Mikel's first full season to season now. Now, it's very interesting and very important that people look at this because it shows the progression that we've made. Now, you all know that I'm not the greatest fan of Mikel, but I always give him his dues where it's needed. So, possession-wise, 2020-21 season, we were only... This is the whole season in the Premier League. So, this is the average for the whole season in the Premier League. 53.7. Compared to what it is now, 60.7. So, we dominate the games more better than we did in the first season. Big chances. Now you'll notice when the seasons go up that this gets better and better. It's only 1.7 per game. Passing accuracy was 85. The clean sheets was 12. It don't really matter to be fair. But the goals for 55. Goals for we're already halfway through the season now. 37. So technically we should reach 74. Let's be honest. So I'm going to come to Gumza because I know he's very keen on talking about this subject. What do you make of these stats? Compare it to the season now. Is this kind of your theory?
Not surprising, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I think the conceded one, now realizing this is obviously just half a season, we conceded 20 already, which if we carry on that route, that would be 40. To 39 last year. So that one is a bit of a shock because I think defensively is where he's probably spent most of the money and what he's improved the most at Arsenal. So I think our defense is a lot better than it was then. However, these numbers kind of showing a bit different in terms of what we conceded. But possession-wise, that makes sense. Passing, big chances created, all that makes sense. I think if we was creating these chances for other players we had then, so main man would be Aubameyang, it may look a lot different what we're seeing this year. However, you saw the football with Aubameyang wasn't as great. So it's that fine line, isn't it? And I think we've had these debates non-stop. But looking at that, nothing surprises me on it. I think the possession's the big one where you can see we really do control games a lot better than we used to.
Yeah. Canners, I'm going to move on to the next season for you. And G, you're going to have last season to talk about. So this was 21-22 season. Possession-wise was 53, so it still wasn't great. Arteta still wasn't very happy. Goals for was 61. Goals conceded was 48. Did I say that right? Goals for 61, yeah. Big chances, only 1.8 there. Clean sheets, 13. Passing, 83.4. So it's like I've always said, and I've always say this, and all reactions, 85 plus is for me what you need to be for it to be a top team. That is the passing accuracy you need per game. So what do you make of this one compared to what it is now?
It's what it is now, obviously. I mean, I'm actually again, then this is where you can see the conceded that we're actually potentially better off than where we were, in my opinion. Again, everything seems to be kind of ramping up, and there is obviously that progression from the 21 to 21-22. So the possession thing, though, is something which I think is a bit of a misnomer. This season stats, simply for the fact that we're not a team to be surprised about now. Where teams have now basically come to a point where, okay, look, you can't go gung-ho against us. You can't attack us like we used to in that season, 21-22, and even 2021. Teams would come to the Emirates or whatever, or go away, and they're trying to attack that little bit more. I think teams now are paying us a bit more respect, or a lot more respect this year than they were in those two seasons. So the possession, I feel, is going to be a lot higher than it has been in a lot, in the seasons prior. So clean sheets, that's probably we haven't really going on that. What we haven't really improved. That's pretty much remained stagnant. Big chances again. That doesn't really mean anything to me now. in essence, because obviously we're not really putting our chances away, even though the goals for, you could say, could be a lot more. But yeah, on the whole, the only one really you could say is a big improvement is the conceded. Passing, actually, I guess, is again, are we talking about sideways passing? Or I'd love to see the stats in the final third.
If I had time, I would have
no,
and we would have needed about 6 hours stream.
Mate, you had one job. But it would be very interesting, because a lot of what we've been doing, especially in the last few weeks, is a lot of sideways passing and not really penetrating. But then again, I'll probably contradict myself, really, because we look at the big chances created column, which is quite high. So it's one of those ones where I think we're allowed to pass the ball. That's telling me the teams aren't allowing us to pass the ball. So I'm not really surprised, really, with those stats compared to 21-22.
Yeah. Okay. Now, G, you've got last season, mate. So possession-wise, pretty much on level what we've got now. Not much difference. Goals for 88. If only. Goals conceded 43. Clean sheets were literally halfway there. Big chances has jumped from 1.8. I know it doesn't seem a lot because it's only like from a 1 to a 2, but honestly, over the whole every game, that is a massive jump, because that's average. And passing was 85.4, so much better in passing as well. But what do you make of that compared to this season? Because a lot of people think there's been a big drop. I think there is, but it's kind of different compared to stats.
In my opinion, I think we can sit here, we can and we can By the end of the day, we're a better team. The stats for me show clearly that in 2023 to 2024, we're a better team than all Arteta's previous seasons. Every single stat suggests we're a better team. We've got more possession. Even despite firing so many blanks in the last few games and this season, we're on course to easily get close to the 88 goals. We probably would have been 3/4 on the way there had we taken advantage of the 60-odd shots we've had in the last 3 games, which we've not been able to convert. Defensively, we're stronger. Clean sheets, we're kind of there or thereabouts. And big chances we have created, and the passing's got better. So for me, it's easy. I look at these stats, and for me, all I see on paper is that we are a better side than we were in previous seasons. And I genuinely don't feel we would be having this stream or having this conversation if our players were more efficient in front of goal. And that's why, like, the whole kind of, and I know we're going to get onto that, that's why the whole kind of, like, Arteta out and, him being under pressure and so forth kind of somewhat frustrates me, because trust me, I've watched every single game this season. And apart from, when I'm talking in the Premier League, apart from a very, very evenly contested match at St. James's Park, which we lost from a controversial goal, and maybe the Fulham game where we were the second best team in that match. They were better than us. Other than that, we've dominated every single fixture we've played in. Even the ones we lost in the likes of the Villa game and the West Ham game. Had we converted our chances, if you go back and look at the stats in those games, and even if you just re-watch the game, if we bury the chances we create, as you can see, the 2.7 big chances that we get, we're not having these conversations and we're not getting the results we've had so far. So for me, yes, of course, Arteta has some accountability, but ultimately these players need to look themselves in the mirror and they need to actually do the boss a favor, because tactically, why people are questioning Arteta's tactics is beyond me, because he's putting out a side that's dominating 99% of the games we're playing. Unfortunately, what we're not doing right is in either, not so much maybe people might say in the defense, but in either end of the pitch in the box, that's where the problems are. We're making defensive errors and we're not finishing our dinner. And unfortunately, if you don't finish your dinner in this league, you don't win games. So yeah, for me, to summarize, Arteta has naturally evolved this team season on season to be better.
Okay. when I get into the questions, and I have made them a little bit more entertaining than normal, because I don't want to get too serious. Because we're fourth. Look, you know me. I'm not the greatest fan of Arteta. I never will be. I'm an Arsenal fan. That's all I care about. I don't care about a person, even if I love them. I don't care if they're playing badly. I will say they're playing badly. It's as simple as that's how I am. I care about my club more than anything else. But we'll get into different questions because I've done it in more of a light-hearted mood. But I do want to get into some comments. I'll put it out there. I'm with Arteta FC. But end of the season might change. I'm watching him. Big up to Tony. Points make prizes. We're at least 10 points behind last season.
Do you know what? I think it all is really, in my opinion, is like there's certain chances that we had, big chances at Liverpool. The Martinelli one last season that would have gone in. The one that Odegaard had against Villa were the two. Last season they would have hit the back of the net. The one that Saka had against West Ham where he hit the post. Season before that went top, near post top against Everton, that exact same kind of spot. It's like just those little things, just those little kind of. I know it's the margins. It seems huge, but they're the kind of margins that we're dealing with. Last season, those guys were firing, and goals breeds confidence, and that obviously, and then it kind of goes on and on and on. And at the moment, I think certain players are just in that kind of funk where they just can't hit a. Just can't get a goal. I thought we actually might have turned the corner against Fulham when that one from Saka went in, because that was hella spawny. Do you know what I mean? Because he totally mishit it. And I thought, okay, cool, let's kick on. But it's not quite happened as yet.
No, it hasn't. Other teams have improved, but we haven't, and that's a fact, says Tony. Tequila, as a Spurs fan, we rarely win stuff. I know you don't. And when we get a half-decent manager, we all of a sudden think we're going to win everything. Yeah, just ask Sam. In saying all of that, I'm curious if you really want Arteta out. I'm trying not to be mean here, Tequila. Levels. That's all I'm going to say. Levels between us and you. I think that's as nice as I can put it. Is that as nice as I can put it? I'm going to just say you're absolute rubbish, but I didn't. Shows we've improved. Outside looking in, he's done pretty damn good for you now. We'll get into this because I know. Well, I think I might be the only one that slightly disagrees on certain aspects of it, but we'll see what happens. Everyone's saying if we had Timber, we would be different. How do we know we would have been kicked on? And don't get me started on Party. I think we would have been totally different with Timber.
Party, even Tomiyasu being fit. There's certain games you could rest Zinchenko, or not even rest him. There's games for Zinchenko and there's games for Tomiyasu at left back or Timber at left back. The Liverpool game is one that screams out to me. Do you know what I mean? Defensively, them two are better. Salah wants to come in on his left foot. They're laterally right-footed, so they're more comfortable him coming inside to defend that area. So it's again, every team goes through it. Every single team has to go through injuries. So it is what it is. But
I don't think Arteta trusts Kivior. That's the thing, and I know that again, if we come up against a potent winger, he puts Tomiyasu on him. I always, remember. I think we played Leeds, and he hadn't been playing. But as soon as we played Leeds, and Rafinha was on, he straight would put Tomiyasu on him. And that's the kind of thing that he trusts, and he doesn't trust Kivior, and obviously Heller doesn't trust Zinchenko. I mean, it was a bit of a mismatch against Salah, but hey.
Yeah. Chris saying thank Lord probably didn't put XG nonsense in.
No, I like XG.
It was X. It's an XA now, and what's the other one? XC is the other one I have to deal with.
I want X. I said I want XPA. I want a pre-assist as well.
that is actually something that exists, but it's just never talked about. But it does exist. Yeah, but so whether or not that might come into it, it might do next season. Who knows? But I'm not going to do. My theory: a certain French striker we had in the day bleached his skin, got German passport, and is back to haunt us again with getting into good positions, not scoring no goals. I'm guessing we're on about Giroud.
No, it's a no-go.
Oh, is it? Temmie, behave. I don't know if you saw it last night, but I had to talk about Spinazzola last night because it's a possible links with him. And Temi came in straight away with Spinach Zola. And I was like, and the problem is I had to say his name again. And I knew in my head I was going to say Spinach Zola. I was like, no, I can't say no. Temi, you're very naughty. Arteta knew he had problems with players. Has always been injured, so he should have sold and bought others in. Look, when I get into the questions, I'm not going to say any of these three guys are wrong, but I will be testing their opinion as much as I possibly can, because I just want to hear what your opinion is to the question that I've got. That's it. I'm not trying to change your mind or anything like that. I just want to test it a little bit. If you're looking for sideways passing, you should look. Sign Harry Winks from Leicester. No, he's at his level now. I wouldn't say being massive drop off from Arsenal, only been slight drop off, but stats say you've been better than previous seasons. 100%. That's why I did that. Obviously, I didn't want to use the first half, the half season when he was appointed. I did feel that was fair at all. For sticking with Eddie, signing Kai, Slogo, Cedric, 3 goalkeepers in 3 seasons, throwing away the cup, I've had enough. Get the Spanish Brompton Bridges out of my cup, says Temi. Sorry, guys, I'm missing something. If every team took their chances, they would be better off. I don't care about possession. It's points that matters. Points win prizes. The oppositions are happy to let us control the game. They aren't worried about our forwards scoring on them. Well, they're definitely not at the moment. And now we'll give them a goal or 2. Please explain. We'll get into this because, again, it's something that I want these guys to talk about because we can love someone. But can we admit that they've made mistakes as well? Anyone who can sign Havertz shouldn't be trusted with funds ever again. Like I said, this situation will not happen again. Yes, defensively we're better, but our attackers are counter-attacking players, especially in terms of finishing like Martinelli, Nketiah and Jesus. They are not making something out of nothing players. I think Martinelli could. I think he's probably on the cusp of that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Martinelli, though, he's. I think he misses Xhaka, in my opinion. I think he
misses a quality midfielder that will give him a very good pass.
Yeah,
and can trust him.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I don't want to just go on to about Xhaka and how much we're missing him because Xhaka wanted to leave, so let's move on.
Yeah, no, I actually just think with the way. What really helped Martinelli was Xhaka, and I think that was underestimated.
I'll be honest. I think if we got Zubimendi, I think we would see a totally different team this season in a better form. Because Zubimendi is a more natural holding midfielder and a very good playmaker as well. Very, very talented. Havertz is not that type of player. I like him. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not that type of player. Temi Havertz has produced more than Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. We were cooking last first half season.
Last season, first half.
Right, thank you. My brain was like, I don't understand myself. I'm like, what? 5 margins, Cannon say. That's football. Only thing you dropped off, is it goals? Yes, 100%. So with my last comment from me, there's an imbalance somewhere in our team. Totally agree. Temi, I'm talking goals. XG is nonsense. Let's be real. I swear Arsenal asked for Jesus Christ up front, not Gabby Jesus. I'm going to try and skip some because I do want to get into these questions because they might take a little while. Buyout of loan on rare comments. Hang on. I thought we were triggering buyout. Well, this is the thing. Like I've said, we haven't triggered it. And there's possibly a good reason for it. We'll wait and see if that good reason comes. But we can trigger it any time. That's the thing. We can literally just pay it tomorrow and it's job done. There's a situation that's brewing, right? If Tony was become available on loan with an obligation to buy, we would then have to trigger Raya because we wouldn't be able to get Tony on loan as well because you can't sign 2 players from the same club.
On loan, yeah.
So there's loads of things going on behind the scenes. Thankfully, they're not coming out because we like to do our stuff in private. That sounds wrong, but you know what I mean. I've said it since the start of the season. Your bench pretty poor, excluding Trossard, in my opinion. Nelson and Nketiah. Nelson, I'll take Nelson out of that because to be fair to him, I think he's been performing all right. Smith Rowe, I'll be honest, him and Arteta are not getting on at all. So we'll see what happens with Smith Rowe.
I'm down on Nelson, to be fair.
I think in the last game, he showed enough to me to go, hang on, we need to give this kid just a little more chance because there's something about him. There's just something about him sometimes. And I'm thinking, but then there's other games I think, what the heck are you? I feel like we got twins.
Oh.
And Bernard Nelson at our club or something. Because I don't know why I said Bernard. I literally don't know where Bernard's from. There we go. That's why I'm asking. Temi Saka has played every game. Havertz, right. Let's get into these first questions. Right. It's time to go. There's Taylor Swift on there. You're going to see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make them a little bit light-hearted. So this is a song by Taylor Swift called It's Time to Go. Now, this is what people are calling for. Guns up. Couple of minutes on why you don't think Arteta should go right now.
How do you know I don't want him out?
I know full well you don't, mate.
I'm a couple of minutes. Is that all I got? All right. So basically, for me, yes, I want to win the Premier League, but I also understand where we've come from, who we're up against, and the process it takes to get to where we want to get to. Yes, we might have nicked it last year. Doesn't mean we're a better team than Liverpool and City. They might have had an off season. I look back at people saying we spent this much money compared to City. Again, we're coming from a different standpoint. City have spent under Pep 1 billion. Arsenal spent 600 mil. And Liverpool spent 935 million. So we're coming from a completely different standpoint. Yes, we need to buy more now because we need to catch up. They've already built their squads. So yes, they only need to sprinkle 60 mil on a player here. One player, maybe a window to improve them. Whereas we need a full rebuild. So yeah, we spent more in less time, but they've spent a lot more than us in total since Arteta's been here. As I said, Pep's on 1 billion, Klopp's on 940 million, and Arteta's on 600. So we're trying to play catch up all the time. If you have one bad season, if that means you get fired, that means Klopp should have gone last year. He came 5th. But they stuck with him. They saw what the problems were. The midfield needed updating. They went out, brought a whole new midfield. Now they're top. They're doing well in Europe. They're flying in the FA Cup. They're flying in the League Cup. They're in the semi-finals. Second leg winning 2-1 against Fulham. So it shows you what a bit of patience can do sometimes. Yes, I'm not happy with how we're playing this year. I still think we're missing a bit. But to just call out, just get rid of him is just crazy to me. We're up against one of the best managers we've ever seen. In my lifetime, don't get me wrong, Fergie, best in the Prem, but best manager ever for me is Pep Guardiola. So again, I've done a bit of research on him. 14 years he's been a manager. He's won 11 league titles. That's 3 he hasn't won in 14 years. Now, we talk about getting other managers in. He's come against the best managers. Conte beat him in his first year at City. Klopp beat him when he was at Liverpool, obviously at Liverpool, and he lost 1 to Mourinho when he was at Barcelona. So again, that shows you who you're up against. And again, if I wanted to call some managers out he's come up against and beaten, the list is massive. Actually, let's do that. Let's call some names out. So Chelsea had Sarri, Tuchel, Poch. Can't get the better of him. United had Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ten Hag. Can't get the better of him. Spurs had Mourinho and Conte. Can't get the better of him. We had Unai Emery. Can't get the better of him. We've also had in our league Carlo Ancelotti, Koeman, Rafa Benitez. Can't get the better of him. In Spain, Simeone's had a go. Emery's had a go. Pellegrino's had a go. Sanchez Flores all had a go. Can't beat him. I'm not going to go through the German manager because I don't think they had the best managers in the world at that time. However, it shows you there's not many managers out there who he hasn't come against in the league and hasn't beaten. So when we keep saying about getting this manager, get that manager, there's no divine right that you're going to get the better of Pep. He's come against the best. And as I said, 14 occasions, he's only been beat 3 times. Mourinho had that unbelievable team at Real Madrid and only beat him once with it. And again, if you want me to call out the Madrid players, I can do that for you. They've had an unbelievable squad at that time. So for me, it's not as easy as Arteta should go because we didn't win the league or we dropped down to 3rd or 4th. It's a process. Also, as I said, they have a head start on us. So we need to just give this guy a bit of time. I'm not saying he's going to ever do it. I'm not saying he's going to be the Messiah for the rest of my time as an Arsenal fan. There will be a time when he needs to go, but you have to understand Liverpool had what? How many seasons did Klopp have before he won it? 4 years before he won it.
4 or 5.
Do you know what I mean? So, and he came in the league before Pep came to the league, so he already was starting to build his team. So you have to weigh these things up. Like Pep and Klopp's teams were already firing. We've come in again last year. We saw when Liverpool struggled. They've struggled twice, in my opinion, since they've had Klopp. Once was when they had a defensive crisis, and then they ended up third, I believe. Man United snuck in second. And then last year, when the midfield just legs were gone, they obviously dropped to fifth. So it shows it can happen. But when Klopp's team is firing, he's normally pushing Pep. So, yeah, I think we just need to be a bit more patient. Like, yes, it's frustrating as hell. We got so close last year, and it feels like we haven't kicked on. But again, we're doing things on a bit more of a budget. Like, we've seen Chelsea spent $1 billion in one calendar year. Like, we haven't been able to do that. So even now we're talking about signings. This is why I love Bobby, because he gives you the whole ins and outs of how it can happen, why it doesn't happen. We can't just go and spend 50, 60 because of FFP. So they're trying to find ways around it. If we look at what Arteta's done, you saw he rebuilt the defense first. He spent big in the midfield this year. Obviously, Jesus has come in, but that's because Laka and Abba left. We needed a striker. He hasn't really done anything with the front line. And that's where I'm thinking now we've seen it this year. We're not firing in that area. It kind of shows me that's the area we haven't really invested heavily into. So for me, give this guy some time. Like, let him get them strikers in and go again and see where we're at. But again, we're still going to be behind City and Liverpool in terms of the process and in terms of money spent overall. So you do have to factor those things in. And it doesn't matter what manager you get in at this time. Arsenal are third best to Liverpool and City in terms of squad. And it's as simple as that.
Fair enough, mate. Canners, I think I both know what G and Canners think on this subject, but I'm going to go to Canners because I know Gumza, because Gumza was very vocal.
I'm fighting in the groups.
But Canners, I don't know, but I'm assuming what I think that you know what he thinks. But Canners, what do you think? Do you think it's time for him to go now?
No.
Okay.
In short, I mean, I pretty much echo what Gums is saying. I'll add a few points as well. I guess going to the games, I think sometimes Arsenal fans have short memories. Do you know?
What did you used to say? I forgot what you said.
Like that. I'll call you Dory from now on.
Yeah.
And I really do, and nothing more encapsulates that than when you're actually in the ground, and especially the last game against Liverpool. Whereas last season we'd go goal down, the team, you know, the crowd would rally behind the team, get them going. And okay, fair enough. So, you know, it's not always the crowd's job to kind of rally up the players, etc., but the mood was totally different last season. Now, this year, it's like last season never happened. It's like everyone said, part of that, this is what we should be doing now. And there is an air of that. I get it. I absolutely do get it. But we have to remember, man, it's like, look at Man United, look at Chelsea. Look at what they're doing when they're kind of flip-flopping on managers and everything, and they're trying to kind of get certain players in. Those kind of clubs now, players don't really want to go there. If you're looking to build something, the fight of where, you know, if a player's up for grabs, and I actually wouldn't know where he'd go if Man City, Arsenal, or Liverpool in from. I wouldn't know where that player would go. If it was us, Chelsea, and Man U, I'd probably hedge my bet to say the player would come to us. We've got something going here. Players aren't stupid. You know, they talk when they're on international duty. Fair enough. Not everyone will be happy with Arteta, what he's doing. But there's always one thing which I remember last season that Vieira said when I think I can't remember the game, but at the start of the game he was interviewed. It was obviously after he got sacked from Palace. He said, international players now want to come to this place. right? And if we change a manager, the whole ethos and what he's actually been doing that's gonna switch. And we have to ensure that whatever we're doing in the transfer market, yeah, it is sometimes transfer market is a gamble. But the thing is, though, you can help yourself by having a pick of, that you can cherry pick and get pick of a better bunch than if you're not doing the right things. If we take us back 2 years, look at the caliber of player really that would really want to come with us. We have to be lucky. And to be fair, you can't really fault them for what they did in the transfer market a couple of seasons back, because they've got us, and the manager as well has got us into a position where we are now, where we actually can now attract the better players. What I will say is, though, is that, look, he's not devoid of criticism. There are things that he can do better. There is obviously, look, he's young, and there are things that he has to work on in terms of his man management. That all comes down with experience. There's obviously, we're talking Pep. You said 14 seasons. I have no idea how long Klopp's been managing, but that kind of air of respect comes with time. And the thing is that, look, if he wins trophies, if he has a team that's always competing for titles, he's going to earn that respect from fellow professionals, be it other coaches, so to select the best coaching team, and also players as well that want to play for him. As I said before, players go away on international duty and they will talk about what they're doing at their club to other players. Oh, this club, oh my God, we're doing this, that, and the other. Look how Declan Rice was infusing about us. You can only imagine him going in, to the England camp or whatever, and talking to, what he's been doing and stuff, and how happy he is. Maybe that might have changed a little bit now. However, I still think where we are now is such a good project, and it's a good place to be. I think we need to give this guy time. I'd shudder to think who we would get in if we was to sack Arteta now. I honestly don't think there's many available managers that would come in and do a better job than what he's doing now. Not saying he's perfect, as I said, but it's a process that needs to kind of takes time. He will make mistakes. This is his fourth or third full season full season in management in a big club, and you can only imagine what the pressures come with that. So I say give this guy time. It is tough. He's competing in the toughest league in the world, in my opinion, and he's going to make mistakes. But we can't have short memories and say, look, oh my God, we're fourth and that's it, time to go. Come on, man, we're 5 points off top with 20 games left. We know 5 points ain't nothing. 5 points ain't nothing, or even 8 points, whatever you want to call it. That's a couple of games. They have a sticky patch. Boom. I'd rather we have our sticky patch now. They're going away, sitting down, running back videotapes, what you did wrong here, what you have done here. They iron out all these problems, and then they kick on in the second half of the season. The things what they're doing now can be remediated. They can be worked on. We're not a bad team overnight, and he's not a bad manager overnight.
Okay. Both you and Gums have both covered some other questions that I've got, but I will be coming to those questions again because I want to delve into what you've been mentioning within those answers. So I will want to pick it apart a little bit more than what you've said. But G, I want your opinion on this as well. I know what you're going to say, but
yeah. I mean, in terms of Arteta, is it time to go? I personally think it's ridiculous for people to, be saying Arteta out. I genuinely do. And the reason why I say that is because when this guy took over at our club, we were an absolute laughing stock on and off the pitch. Facts. We were literally banter FC. The culture at the club was bottom of the barrel. The football on the pitch got us basically playing atrocious football, finishing 8th in the Premier League. And I wasn't in favour of Arteta coming to the club because, as far as I was concerned, he was a rookie manager. The job was too big for him, and I didn't feel like he had. I just didn't feel like he deserved that level of job. That type of role. It's like going from straight out. You know what I mean? It's literally like joining a company, having never worked in retail, and all of a sudden you're a CEO of like Primark. It just doesn't make sense for me. And when we actually appointed him. However, if you actually look at the reality of the situation, Arteta is under pressure by himself. Arteta is under pressure from certain sections of the fan base, and Arteta is under pressure from the media. I don't believe for an absolute second that Arteta is under any pressure from actual Arsenal Football Club. The reason why Arteta is under such pressure from sections of the fan base, the media, and also himself is I actually genuinely believe he is a victim of his own progression. Now, I used the word very, very tactically. I didn't say success. And the reason why I didn't say he's a victim of his own success, because other than his FA Cup win, we've not been successful. Because success is, for me, winning trophies. However, what we have seen since he's been at the club is progression. So for me, he is a victim of his own progression. Because if an Arsenal fan genuinely sits down without the clickbait posts, without the comments, without trying to get a reaction, if you genuinely sit down, look in the mirror and ask yourself, you envisioned a title push last season. If you can say yes, then you're an absolute liar. Simple. Nobody envisioned we were going to push for the title last season. But because we pushed for the title last season, expectations have understandably risen. You know, they've rose now. Now, because of that title push, we expect to push for the title every single season. However, Arteta and the club are not under no illusion that, you know, he's not even at the 5th year of the process that, you know, he promised us. So as far as I'm concerned, personally, we are 20 games into a season. I'm disappointed we're out of the Carabao Cup. I was absolutely fuming that we were out of the FA Cup because that was a game we should have won. However, Arteta and Arsenal still have the potential to win 2 major trophies this season, if not 1. So until the season's actually done, I don't think we can really make it. I don't think we should really be in a position to make any rash decisions on his future or the future of the club. And if I'm going to be honest, in terms of my expectations, the only time I'm going to start questioning Arteta in terms of should he go is if by the end of next season, we have not yet won a major trophy. Now, what I mean by that is by the end of this season and by the end of next season, if we have not won one of the FA Cup, the Premier League, or the Champions League, I would at that stage start to have serious question marks over his future at the club. However, for right now, for all the reasons I've explained, I think it's absolutely absurd that somebody would talk about getting rid of Arteta at this stage. Because I think season on season, the stats prove we're a better side. I think, you know, we are at a point where we pushed for the title last season. And this season, as kind of said, with 5 points off top, with however many games to go, the season's not done. Yes, it's disappointing because obviously we're out of both cup competitions. And I think what Arsenal fans have done is they've gone, the league's gone. That's what they've done. They've got to that mentality, the league's gone, because we haven't stormed ahead of, you know, a stuttering Man City at the beginning of the season. But nobody actually knows how the season's going to play out. Everybody said we're not going to beat Porto. It's all of a sudden like the whole climate, the whole mood around the club has just changed, and that's because we have the most reactionary fan base in the world. Unfortunately, if you're triggered by that, that means I'm talking to you. But it is. We have the most reactionary fan base in the world, and the problem is now we have smartphones. So when you combine the most reactionary fan base in the world with technology, X is what you get. The issue with me and the difference between me and a lot of the fan base, and I know I piss people off when I say this, is I get vexed, trust me. See, after that match against Liverpool when we went out of the FA Cup, I was spitting bullets. But I do something that I think a lot of people need to do. I got my phone and I put it down. That's what I did. And a lot of people, I think, really need to do that, because I'll sum it up. In terms of Arteta, I understand people, and this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to get people to have my opinion. You can have whatever opinion you have, but I genuinely believe that, as Canna says, I think our fan base forget where we were. I think they forget what we're up against. And I really do think Arteta deserves time. And that's just my opinion.
I'll say what I said to Canners. I don't agree with some of the stuff you said, but it's going to come up in a different question, so I will push back on some of the stuff you said in that. And just slightly late, just a couple of minutes, more like 45. Niger has joined us. How are we doing, Niger?
Oh yeah, now my people. It's your late man from the motherland. If you didn't know before, tonight you definitely understand. Hey, big up everyone. Smash the likes, big up the panel. It's been too long. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my lateness. Oh, we're talking about we're talking about Tets, yeah? We're talking about Tets.
Yeah, we're talking about Arteta, just in case people mishear what you're saying. For me, that sounded slightly different. Just saying. But, Nigel, I want your opinion. Now, a lot of people are saying it's time to go for Arteta right now. I know that you're slightly different to the other guys on here regarding Arteta, but what's your opinion right now on Arteta? Should he stay or should he go?
Right now, I'm not in panic mode, because this is exactly what I expected at this point of the season, personally. Because for me, the reason why I saw it this way is because I always knew the Kai Havertz thing was not going to work. I knew it. I said it from the start. I couldn't see the great things other people were seeing, all the PowerPoint presentations that people were showing me about how our Havertz is going to work and all that rubbish. And he had a little purple patch. That didn't faze me either, because he had purple patches at Chelsea. Now he's back to doing what he does. Nothing. But yeah, I knew this was going to happen. And I just said, please, just get my club to January, still in the mix of things. And then Arteta has a chance to be bailed out for his mistakes of the summer. Because I knew they'd have to fix those. Because look, I'm a fan that enjoys my team collecting 3 points. You're not going to hear too much disputes or annoyance from me if we still collect 3 points, because at the end of the day, that's the be all and end all. So I wasn't going, our game is different, it's more controlled now. I knew we were playing badly, but I was like, do you know what? The guy is collecting me 3 points, so let me not go too crazy yet. Let me hope that this midfield is going to click into gear. But it never did, and I never saw it clicking into gear. So he has a lifeline right now in this January window to bail his season out. And that's what the board would have to do for him. Let's keep it 100. The board would have to bail him out, because we could have used that 65 million elsewhere and we'd be in a better situation right now, me personally. So the board may be bailing him out. And bailing him out looks like at least a box-to-box central midfielder for me. If we can get an attacker on top of that, I'll be over the moon. But for me, once we fix that midfield, then a lot of things are going to click again. Like, for example, our fan base is acting up like Zinchenko's defensive frailties just started this season. They were there last year, and we pushed City all the freaking way. But everyone's like, Zinchenko this, Zinchenko that. Have you not noticed the biggest issue with Zinchenko? Kai Havertz. Because he wasn't being exposed like that when Xhaka was there. He wasn't. Let's keep it a buck, guys. He wasn't getting exposed. I knew that left side was going to be exposed with Havertz and Zinchenko on that side. I think I had the conversation with Gumza. That's why he's screwing up his face right now. Remember, he remembers. I talked about this particular thing, and now it's happening. So Arteta,
do you think our problem could be solved in house? I mean, look, I know it's hard to rely on Thomas Partey, but if Thomas Partey was to play at the fulcrum, and then you push Rice to the 8 role, the box to box, could that not be?
Look, Canners, I hear it, and to be honest, I was very encouraged to see Arteta unlock Rice's attacking threat by coming to Arsenal, because I also always knew he was a very technical player with a lot more to his game. But I think West Ham's playing him in the six actually had him restricted. And I thought Arteta as a manager, especially from the early conversation with Rice, I thought, yeah, he's going to unlock that attacking edge to him. But I think the fact that he's had to play alongside Kai Havertz, I don't know. Like I think that's kind of Rice as an 8 doesn't excite me as much as it did at the start of the season. As much as it might work, I don't know if it's ready to work now. That's number one. And number two, I don't know if we can rely on Thomas Partey. If you're going to tell me Thomas Partey plays 20 games between now and the end of the season, I'll take that, bro. That completely transforms our season.
That would literally be a new signing, right? I know.
Do you know what I'm saying? But is anyone on this panel confident that Thomas is going to give us 20 games? Yeah. Exactly. So that's why these in-house things are just... Do you get what I'm saying? It's technical, man. It's technical, guys. I don't know, man. Wahala at Arsenal. Just say that.
Right. Again, I disagree with some of the stuff that Nigel has said. But
let me have it, bro. Let me have it.
No, you know me. I've got it coming up in questions, so I will come back to you. But what I will say is, and Moss has said it, is blaming one player doesn't help anything.
But this is the thing, though, Bobby. This is the thing. I know it's not. Maybe I should have phrased it better. The issue is not Kai Havertz. The issue is not replacing Granit Xhaka. Maybe that's the better way to put it. It's not Kai Havertz's fault because if it's down to me, I'd use Kai Havertz as a 20-30 minute sub to change up the game when we need to do something a little bit different, or games where a little bit more physical where Raya can hit him. Maybe he gets the odd start. But as a regular first team player in the midfield, it's just crazy to me.
Right, I agree. Look, I've said, and like what G was saying about no pressure from the board, there has been some pressure. There's been some upset at the board level, which they've now dealt with and will go into the windows much better because Havertz was not meant to be an Arsenal signing until Arteta wanted him. We cancelled another signing coming in to bring Havertz in. And I think this other signing would have been much better than Havertz. I don't dislike Havertz. I've always said I've always liked him. I think he's a very talented young German, but he just doesn't fit the problem that we needed. Is
that signing, do you think, in your opinion, enough to kind of like to be a point of, well, you live by it, you die by it kind of signing?
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, mate, they were furious. Like, I know G was saying that there's that there's no pressure. That there's a little bit. I wouldn't say that he's on the chopping block with his, guillotine over his head. He's not like that in that. I don't know what Kunle is making my eyes go weird. But yeah, it's one of those. He made an error, and what the whole point of how this process has got to work is everyone works together as a team. And for some bizarre reason, Arteta decided to go rogue. It was because the thing is, the data team had their details on Havertz, and then look, I know people love Havertz, and I get it, and I love him myself. But the data wasn't supporting signing Havertz. It wasn't supporting like the signing. So it was going against the data. And that's how Arsenal sign most of their players, is by the data or by the scouting. We didn't even scout him. I know technically you don't need to scout Havertz because we all see him play. But we still do a scouting mission, even on Ivan Toney. I know we've sent people out when he was training. What was it was it Brentford B team he was training with? Yeah, what he was allowed to do. But we've all seen Tony. We all know what his qualities are. But we still send scouts out there just to look at the finer details of how he plays and stuff. But it's just one of those things. I'm going to try and skip some of the comments because otherwise we're going to be here all night. And funny,
I've got time for it. I'm here.
Big up to Arsenal Analyze. Big up to everyone that is commenting. I am going through and picking out ones that are important. Thank you very much, Arsenal Analyze. Don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you very much. Luke saying Havertz and Fabio for 100 million is what's holding us back. Fabio Vieira for me is just unlucky. If I'm honest, 35 million is not a big spend in terms of football nowadays. Anyway, Havertz, like I said, it was the wrong signing. Who was the signing? Bobby Kudu? No, not Kudu. Wink if right, Bobby. It wasn't Kudu. Skip this, Bobby. It isn't important, mate. Which one's that? I'm trying to try and go through. Right, but Gumza has asked me very nicely. to go to one specifically. I'm trying to find where it is now. Right, that one. There you go, Gumsy. I know you wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah, like I understand it. It's frustrating, heartbreaking. But what we've done, we've allowed United and Tottenham to get in our heads and make us feel like we're failures and all of this stuff and bottle job and all of that. And this is the problem. We're stooping our levels to them. Like, end of the day, I think Mark Goldbridge summed it up the other week when he put a tweet out and he was saying anybody who's questioning Arteta needs to kind of have a reality check because they would love for their club to be in our position right now. And that, I think we've allowed. No one calls Liverpool a bottle job when Klopp's been going at Arteta. Klopp's been going at Pep for 5 years and only won once. No one calls it the 3 before that. No one called him a bottle job. So we need to stop it. We're allowing United fans and Tottenham fans to rile us up, and we're getting in our own heads and arguing amongst each other. And yes, we all want the best. We all want the best for Arsenal. We all want to see the end goal, Arsenal win stuff. But some of we wasn't a laughing stock last year. We was not prepared to be in that position. Like, the other clubs are fighting for 4th, we're fighting for 1st, but yet we're going to call ourselves the laughing stock. That's crazy. Like, it's absolutely rude because even this season, we're frustrated that we're not top of the league. Some of these teams are just holding on to just trying to sneak in the top 4, or in terms of United, them lot are all over the place. So why are we, like, Liverpool and City ain't doing that to themselves? Do you know what I mean? They have a bad run. They're not comparing themselves with Tottenham, and I don't know why we're doing it to ourselves. So we need to kind of come off this, we're the bottle jobs and we're a laughing stock, because I tell you, them other fan bases, Chelsea, Tottenham and United, would love to be in our situation right now. And that's the honest truth about it.
But look, Gumza, the reality is the world we're living in is a world of extremism, isn't it? Like, our fans, the opposition fans, especially social media, everything is just extreme. Like, this season, because we were winning, collecting points, everyone was like, yeah, we're more controlled now. It's different, all this nonsense they were saying, and we're a different animal, we're difficult to beat and all that. Guys, can't you just enjoy that? Arsenal won 3 points and just look at it for what it is. We were lucky there. We won 3 points. We were lucky there. I kept saying we can't keep riding our luck. But the reality is it's not panic stations yet. Because of how successful everyone is when Arsenal are doing badly, opposition fans are trying to force it on us, force on this extra pressure, force tears upon us already when there's still a lot to play. Like, I was just on the terrace and they were asking me, is it a crisis? Is it over? Should you just sack Arteta now? I'm like, there's so much football left to play this season. Like, what are we talking about? And the window's still open. If you asked me, if the window closes tonight, hey, I'm not going to lie to you. That's a different something. You'll be seeing me on this screen crying, saying all sorts of things. Wahala everywhere. But as of now, the transfer window is still currently opening. So there's still hope that we can find a solution to these problems. Yeah, there are some in-house solutions, but that specific midfield one, we need to go and buy. Because we made a mistake in summer. Arteta, go and fix it. Don't let Kai Havertz be the reason you lose your job, because it could literally be that deep.
Fair enough. Gums, are you happy with answering that question now?
Yeah, mate, I appreciate it. Guys in the comments also big up as well. Keep them firing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be here a while, you lot, honestly.
I am going to try and keep this as short as possible because I'm thinking mainly of G, because M's going to want to go to bed soon as well, and G's probably going to want to go to bed soon as well. If Arteta gets us to the Champions League final and we lose on penalties and finish second, losing the league by a point, then he stays, in my opinion. Has to go otherwise. Brenny, you're not giving me great watch-alongs here, mate. I'll be honest. I'm thinking of all the watch-alongs I have to do. That's just going to stress the heck out of me. So, no, thank you. But yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I'm not saying get rid of him, but he's not protected against criticism. We've got a question about that in a minute. Do you give Arteta another season, lads? Again, we've got another question regarding that. Klopp has already built his midfield in one transfer window, plays more direct, and has Gillis up front. Yeah.
No, they've just got Salah.
Yeah. Let's be
honest. Killer up front.
Yeah. So please tell me so I understand why are we 10 points worse off, because we're not putting our chances away.
But I think if you look at the league in general, I think apart from like Villa, a lot of the teams aren't where they were. Do you know what I mean? This league is a lot more equal across the board. So yeah, it's affecting us.
If Arteta doesn't win a trophy this season, he has to be questioned.
Seriously questioned, bro. More than there's context to that. Your comment, Temi.
And Neil, We got rid of Armoury in late 2019. I will be honest, we never wanted Armoury. We went to Asda to go and get some bread. They didn't have any bread, so we ended up getting something out the trash out the back. That's what we ended up doing there. We never wanted Armoury. We would have sacked him if he won the league, won the League Cup, won the FA Cup. We still would have sacked him because we always wanted Arteta. Doing another great striker or midfielder.
Oh, is that real? Yeah, serious.
Yeah, that's exactly we've always wanted him. Right, I'm going to quick answer for this, Gums, because we've got loads to get through. Gums, a midfielder or striker for you in January?
Striker.
G.
Striker.
Canners.
Striker.
Niger.
What, this question? Yeah.
Yeah, please, mate.
We need a striker or a midfielder. For me, we need a midfielder more than a striker. Personally, that's what because I believe our midfielders looked off all season, and because of the lack of replacement for Granit Xhaka, Rice has had to do 2 jobs. So this poor run of games that he's had recently was always coming, because there's only so much one man can do. So I need a midfielder.
I'm pinning my faith on Partey. That's why I went for a striker.
Yeah. I feel we've dominated most midfield battles this season.
When has that ever worked out for us? Putting our faith on Partey.
Come on, man.
Just saying.
It's got to work sometimes.
Right. The next question is, what's love got to do with it? Right. The reason I put it like this is everyone seems to love Arteta, right? And I don't know why. But does it really matter if let's just, for instance, for the next 5 games, we don't win any of those 5 games. Will your love for Arteta still say keep him?
No, he's gone.
Right, so that's Nigel's answer. That's a quick one. Canners, if we don't win any of our next 5 games, and bear in mind most of those are bottom half of the table teams, do you think he should go?
But you mean by losing or drawing?
Okay, right.
No, Bobby, don't even answer that. He asked what he asked, Canners. So answer that question. Even if it's 5 draws, bro. Even if it's 5 draws, bro, he's gone. He's gone for me, bro. I'm Arteta in. I say give him to the end of the season, but another string of results like that after 1 win in 7, bro. Come on, bro. That'll be 1 win in 12. Come on, Canners. What you say? What are you debating? Hey,
it depends how far we are.
Canners is getting me mad, G.
That's the thing. I have to take. I
forgot how Canners could rattle me, man. I forgot about this one.
Yeah, no, we have to win a game. But does he go? Listen, at the moment,
bro, stop this politician rubbish, Canners. Answer the question, bro.
I honestly can't. There's too many variables for me.
Okay. I'll leave it there because there's a question that you will definitely be answering shortly. Because I want to understand why. G,
I'm disgusted.
So if we don't win any of our games in the next 5 games, does he go for you? No matter how much you love Arteta.
Well, first of all, I don't love him. I've never been a fan of Arteta when he first came to. Yeah, I never wanted him to get the job in the first place, but that's why I struggle to understand people's rationale about wanting him to go, because I genuinely don't love him. I just think it's common sense that he should still be in the job. I genuinely don't think he's done that bad a job to deserve to be fired right now as we speak. I think even if he lost the next 5 games, I don't think he should be sacked. I think he should be given to the end of the season.
Okay, I'll pause it there because we've got another question for you coming up as well. Then, Gumza. So we don't win the next 5. What would you do?
It depends how we lose it. And when I say that, no. How I say that, if, for instance, it's 5 performances like West Ham and Liverpool where we're playing well.
Get him off, Bobby. Just get him off. Kick him off the
No. Then I have hope and say, all right, cool. If it's a performance like Fulham's, then I'm looking different. The reason I say that is, does he start the dressing room? If the dressing room's gone, he has to go. Yeah. If the dressing room's still there,
there's context to this, man. You've got to add context. If you don't add context, nah, man, Niger. If you don't add context, then what are we doing here? If there are 5 Fulham performances, then it's quite
That's
clear
right.
that this ain't working.
Okay, but
This ain't working.
G, 1 win in 12 that would be if he doesn't win any of these next 5. Gamza and G.
We saw a run like that before, though. We've seen that
brother.
run before.
Where?
A couple of years
When?
ago, and ESR saved his life. But
Okay, so we should be going back in time rather than forward. No, is that what you're telling me?
These things happen, innit? Like it's
Brother, we're talking about progress.
Okay.
And no stress.
It looks bad.
So-
Okay, then, so what if he doesn't win the next 5 games, however, but he
Yeah.
finishes second again and gets to the
Okay, well,
semis of the Champions League?
That's
What
another
happens
question.
then,
Come on.
Nigel?
Do you know also as well?
Hey, like, you could look, Arteta could finish outside the top 5.
Nah,
Yeah.
G.
Now listen,
fuck
Arteta could finish outside the top 4, win the Champions League, and everyone would shut their mouth. Literally.
Live, live, bro.
But that's why
What?
for me. But that's why
My
for
manager, that's what are you nuts, bro? I'll be on doing madness on
That's
stream.
why
So you crazy?
For me, you give him to the end of the season because for me,
Yeah.
I don't think what really could a manager do between, because if we lose the next five games, look, the chances are the Premier League's gone. And if we lose the next 5 games, what are the chances of winning the Champions League? Very slim. So I just think you give him till the end of the season, you see what he's got up his sleeve. If come the end of the season, we finish, say, 3rd or 4th, and we've got knocked out, the last 16 Champions League, then fair enough, you say goodbye. But I just think, yeah, man, lose the next 5 games or whatever, man. Just give him to the end of the season because ultimately you get the replacement ready. So as soon as the last game of the season happens, you pull the trigger, you get the new man in, already lined up, and then he can start pulling the strings. He's got a whole preseason, etc. But sacking the man with however many games to go to the end of the season, nah, I just don't like that style.
Now,
man.
do you know what? Gee, I actually hear that because to be honest, I don't believe there's any manager that comes in and gets us the title if Arteta can't do it now. So there is nothing to lose by giving him to the end of the season. But just line it up. But 1 win in 12 just looks dirty, bro. I can't justify anything he's doing after that. I'm just literally just existing as an Arsenal fan for the rest of the season if that happens. That's what I'm saying.
If you look at the league table in terms of losses, we lost the same amount of games as Villa, and we've lost 1 more than City. But again, it's context because theirs might be spread out. Once every 4 or 5 games they lose, it gets hidden. We've had a bad little run, so it feels a lot worse. But as I said, City have lost 3, we've lost 4. It's not too much difference. I think they've drawn 4 and we've drawn 3 or something like that. So
no, but Gumza, this is what I'm saying. You're talking
if you add another
exactly.
But as I said, if the dressing room's not lost, then there's still fighting chance. If the dressing room's gone, we could be winning it. And if you sense that dressing room's gone, then he has to go because I think that's the most important.
Bridget, Ten Hag is in a job and we're sitting here talking about Arteta getting fired. Bridget, what's the word come to?
Even Pochettino.
Come on, man. Just put this into perspective, man. Jesus Christ.
No. But look.
Ten Hag is
in a job. G, the specifics was if he doesn't win any of the next 5 games. If you're telling me now, I'm Arteta in all the way to the end of the season. But if we don't win any of the next 5, it's a sticky situation.
I admit
it's going to be very, very sticky. As of now, of course, he deserves to the end of the season. Of course, he does.
If we don't win 1 game in the next 5, I'm going to be absolutely spitting bullets. But for me personally, if it was my organization, I was running Arsenal Football Club, and I'd make that call to get rid of Arteta, I'm lining up the manager for next season. I'm lining up the thing. I'm sorting it all out behind the scenes. And then when I'm ready, maybe 2-3 games to go at the end of the season. Because at that point, we could be 2-3 games at the end of the season, and we could be in the Champions League final. And then I might have to go, I might have to reevaluate this. Or we go on, we're at 2-3 games before the end of the season, and we're not going to win a thing. I just pull that trigger one time, Arteta gone, and then I line up the manager ready for next season. But I genuinely don't see the point in bringing how many games we played in the season at the moment? 19, 20, 18 games? Like number 5 games, 23 games. 23 games into Premier League season. Firing a man, bringing the next man in, no transfers can be made. I just think it's stupid. Personally, I think all you're gonna get a bit of a new manager bounce, but really and truly, that's all you're gonna get. Really, you're gonna get maybe a string of maybe 5 or 6 games where we're playing really well because the players want to impress him, and then really and truly, the hard graft and the work and the progress is gonna start pre-season. You know, when he's on the training field with the team, you know, he's done his scouting, he's got his mindset on his targets. So I just think, from my perspective, and that's just a personal preference, I would just line up the thing and pull the trigger if needs be. But I would hold fire just in case he goes on to win the Champions League. Because if he goes on to win the Champions League, like I said, he'll go down as a hero. You know, imagine that. Imagine he finishes outside the top 5 and brings home the Champions League. You won't hear a peep from not a single Arsenal fan.
Bro, stop trying to turn me on tonight.
I will, mate. I would still be critical. I would still be critical.
Bro, I wouldn't.
I would, because that's the way I am.
Listen, the bend that I would go on if we win the Champions League, I couldn't care less what he did.
Hey, Bobby, I guarantee you wouldn't, bro. I know, and look, hold on. Don't interrupt yet. I know you say you would, but do you know why you're saying it, bro? Do you know why you're saying that? And you can say it right that comfortably, because we've never had the experience of winning the Champions League, bro. You don't know what emotions are going to come over you that night, bro. So I don't know what I'm going to say that night. But I know I'm not going to be critical, because I know there's going to be some emotions that have entered my body that I've never experienced in my life. So, hey.
I get what you're saying, but right in my head right now, I don't see us getting further than the quarterfinals in the Champions League.
For sure.
So that's probably why
what we're doing now.
How comfortable I'm saying it right now. But yeah, you're probably right. The emotion of the night. I'll probably be crying on the watch along as well, because
there's no probably about it, Bob. We are all in tears.
I'll come up for Wolverhampton, I tell you, mate, on that watch along, just to cry with you.
Right. Right. There was a question that I noticed here. If we lose the next 5 games, the reason I said 5 is because they're all 5 league games next. That's why I specifically chose 5 net games. Then we play Porto. That's why I purposely did that. There was a reason behind my madness, I promise. Right, patience. I take that. Right, Gums, a very quick answer for this one. Why do you have so much patience?
Because I'm a patient guy anyway. I think I look at football a bit different.
He's a coach. They all have this patience thing. Because all of us are going to stick together, a coaches union and all that. Yeah. But for now, I'm with him. Like Arteta in, so I'm not against it.
I also, again, if you guys remember at the start of the season, I said 2025 is when we win the league, and between 2025 and 2030, we win 3 out of 5. Whether that's with Arteta or not, that was my prediction. I think I respect Pep to know that it's not as easy as, we bought Declan Rice, we've got to win the league now. It doesn't work like that. Equally, we've got a very, very young team. So, the average age of our squad's quite young. Now, if that grows in 2 years, we're now talking those players are going into their prime at between 26 and 28. Majority of that starting 11 is going to be in between those 2 age brackets, which is their prime of football. Again, you look at City, the Gundogan's, the Silvers, they've been there, they've done it. They're in their prime now. So I know Gundogan's left, but do you know what I mean? Them, years where they struggle a bit and he just pulls them out of the bag. He starts scoring like mad when De Bruyne goes off it. So I think it's just giving these guys that bit of patience, knowing that Saka's still only, 22? Martinelli's 22. Like, we're expecting so much from these kids. Like, do you know what I mean? It's crazy to think how much pressure we're putting on some of these young players. So, yeah, for me, just give them a bit of time, let them develop together. And as I said, in 3 years, that average age of that team, they'll be between 25 and 30, say. And now we really start to see what this team's about. Whether it's with Arteta or not, that's my patience is the key to this, and keeping that team together, keep growing it.
Okay. G, very quick answer again, please, if you can.
I think me personally, I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser than I once was. I think years gone by, I would have just been spitting bullets and calling for his head a long time. But I think I realized that, for me personally, I remember where we were on and off the pitch before Arteta came. And what I have seen on and off the pitch is progression. I haven't seen success other than the FA Cup triumph. but I have seen progression. And I think year on year, I think that there are areas of, where we have progressed. And I think, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. At the same time, the time he has is not limitless. At some point, from even me, I'm gonna start, kind of seriously asking questions. But I'll give you a scenario. Like a Liverpool fan the other day tried to get at me on X and he said to me, he goes, Klopp has 14 years to equal Arsene Wenger's Premier League legacy. And I said to him, and Arteta has just got to win one Premier League to equal Klopp's Premier League legacy. And I said, and if you actually deep it, it's taken Klopp 8 years to win one Premier League. So technically, he's going to have to be at Liverpool 24 years on average instead of 22 years for him to win 3. Because at the moment, averages, he wins one Premier League every 8 years. So, I mean, people can come from all different angles and all different agendas with, how we look at this. But ultimately, I personally feel Arteta's done a good job in terms of progressing this team and progressing this club on and off the pitch over the last 4 seasons. The question mark for me is, can he take us to the next level? I'm not personally convinced he can. But ultimately, I don't know the future. My thing, Gumza has his predictions. Gumza has his expectations. My expectations are if we finish this season trophyless, he has to win a major trophy by the end of next season. And if he don't, that's when I feel, for me personally, my patience will have probably reached breaking point for Arteta. But at the moment, no. And I think patience, why am I so patient? It's just my personal preference. And I think regardless, when you look at life and all different situations, everybody's patience, is different, depending on the situation. So for me, I'm just, with regard to this, I'm just a patient person. Maybe it's because, I've been married and with the same woman for 20 years. So I've learned to be patient. Who knows? But yeah, that's what it is for me. Yeah, I just think he needs time, and I'm happy to give him some. But trust me, people know me. People who personally know me know that at some point, if he don't bring me results, I will switch. There will be the switch, and I will say he has to go. But for me personally, I haven't yet reached that point. If other people have reached that point and they've run out of patience, that's absolutely fine. I'm just not there yet.
No, fair enough. Guys in the comments, you are legends because I'm reading all your comments.
Tony's got me dying.
Yeah, I'll be honest, because of the way that the show is built, it's very hard to go into the comments because obviously it's going to sidetrack us too much, and we've got so much to do. Big up to Nigel. He's having to run to his 3rd stream now, so that's why he's dropped out. So big up to Nigel, and please do subscribe to his channel as well. Yeah. I'm sure Tony will put the link in the description later when he's not working as well. Canners, your reason for patience, and try not to sing the song.
The reason why I'm patient right now is because I remember the Arsenal of the 80s. If you remember Arsenal of the 80s, there were some bad times. And you know what the thing is, though? It's like football is cyclical, man. Seriously. We've had our trough, and we're on our way up to our peak. I can see what's happening here. I really can. And I know you just have that feeling that it's a lot different than it was, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. There's something happening here. And that's why at this moment in time, I'm patient. As long as we don't start getting to the point where, players start leaving, for the want of winning trophies or, going on to pastures new or whatever, as long as we can keep the core of players together, I don't think there's going to be a problem at this club. And that's why I'm patient.
Okay, before I go on to the next one, I'm pretty sure G has probably seen the comment as well from a Dan Wheatley. G talks football changed that to D talks football delusional, says Dan.
Why don't you get
a
picture, Dan, so we can see your face, Bridget?
I thought it's the perfect time to bring G in to bring to come back to that one.
Sorry, Bobby, can I just add one more thing quickly?
Yes, Gumza.
So part of getting over the line, you have to get in a position to do it. When Arteta took over, we were 33 points behind at the end of the season, 33 points behind the winners that year. 33 points. The season after, 24 points behind. We've clawed back them gaps. So just take a bit of time. We've come a massive way. Like, no, we've come up. Yes, Arsenal is a big club. Don't get it wrong. I'm not trying to say we shouldn't be winning things, but we were in the mud really badly. And I do think people forget, not just positionally where we were, but if you actually looked at the state of the club. I remember Oxlade-Chamberlain went to Liverpool and he didn't play for about 6 months because Klopp said, I can't believe how unfit he is. That was what we were dealing with. Everything was rotten at the club. Do you know what I mean? All the leaks that used to come out every week, it was in a bad place. So, yeah, we want to get over that line. We do. And like we all said, he might not be the one to take us over the line, but he's definitely put us in a better position than when he found us. So, and I'm not too sure, Bobby, you'll be able to give him a bit more context, but this kind of was his vision from what I believe. I think Emery is more of he was a coach, wasn't he? So this is your team you're working with. And we're making the signings. I believe now it's a bit more of a well, he came in as a coach and they changed him to manager. But also, if you get rid of him now, who's to say the manager wants these players? Or do you know what I mean? Arteta's built this in his mold. So a new manager comes in, it may step us back because that manager might want a more Klopp style of football. So I want more fast, direct players, which we might not have in this squad right now. So you end up now could be 2-3 years behind again. So for me, yeah, a bit of patience with what he's building.
I want to say stuff so badly. But
message me later because I love your inside info you've got. I love it.
All I will say is
it's chomping at the bit.
I'm speculating, but you know more, so you tell me when you're ready.
This is KSE's process. This is how they run all their like sports clubs or teams, however you want to word it. But this is KSE's. So what they did, they met Arteta, they spoke to him beforehand, they saw his vision, they were like, yeah, you're the guy. Because if anyone watches the Rams, I think his name's, and I know Moss will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure his name's Sean McVay. Literally the same person.
Young manager, isn't he? He's really young.
Yeah, exactly. He's young. He's just as arrogant as Mikel as well, which it works in a certain degree. I will say that Mikel does ruffle some feathers. But what I would say is I know the plan B. If Arteta was to go, like, I don't know, if we were to lose, and I'm saying lose the next 5 games, I know our plan B. And I'm absolutely fine with plan B. Absolutely fine because I know who it is. Ooh. He's already at the club and I'm chill. I'm chill about it. But yeah, I'm just seeing what this private. I have to jump up.
He's already at the club.
Yeah, he's already at the club. G, how long have you got, mate?
I've got about 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll try and wrap it up as quick as I can. If not, you might just have to miss a couple of questions at the end. I will try and wrap it up. Like I said, I'll just
that's cool.
I reckon, mate. I do apologise. But yeah, plan B is still currently at the club. But yeah, that is a case of if Arteta was to get sacked in mid-season, we have our plan B already there. We don't need to be scouting managers. If we start scouting managers, I promise I'll tell you. I will tell you every little. I'm not held back by anybody, which is what I love. So if we are scouting for managers, I'll let you know. But we are not scouting for managers, but we have got our plan B already in place. So I'm not worried at all. And
that doesn't fill me with confidence, though.
I'll be honest, the guy has a lot to do with my preview shows. And honestly, he is epic. Epic. He is someone to watch out for. I think he'll be the next Pep. That's how good I think he is. He's that good.
Wow.
And he's not English, just before everyone thinks it's Jack. Jack is going to be probably more like a Brian Clough type manager. But yeah, the one we've got is I'm absolutely chill about it. Right, let's move on to the next one. Try and wrap this up. Believer by Imagine Dragons. Now, Canners, why are you such a believer about Arteta and the process?
I think it goes back to when you can see things happening. I've been around a few iterations of managers due to my age. I remember when George Graham came in, his thing was, utilizing the youth players, and you could see them playing and you could see something happening. Obviously, his tenure went, and then we'll skip Bruce Rioch and we're going to Wenger. and straight away you could see something happening. I always remember, one of the games, Patrick Vieira's debut. That's probably one of the best debuts I've ever seen from an Arsenal player, because he literally came on and turned that game around. We was losing against Sheffield Wednesday at halftime. He came on, bam, we spanked them. From there on, you can see something happening with the team, and the same thing now. Didn't quite happen. You knew everything was going stale with Wenger. Didn't happen, obviously. Something was never right with Emery. Just never all felt like that we was going places with Emery. But then something happened, though, in my opinion, with Arteta. Admittedly, I didn't see it straight off, but soon after, when we won the FA Cup, then you could see something happening and see what he was trying to do, see how he was trying to play. Yeah, there was a few kind of moments with certain players, and with Xhaka at the start and whatever, it was really infuriating, but you could see something happening. And I think right now I can see something happening, and an involvement of the team, and the way that we play, and and also as well, not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well, because that's such a huge part of the way the club's run. And to actually hear you saying that he is under pressure and how involved KSC are, I think for me, that element of pressure is needed for a manager, just to keep him in check. He may well be an arrogant guy, but you know what? He still needs to have that threat of the sack looming over him and have targets set for him. And I think KSC, judging by the, some of the comments that you made, obviously reading between the lines, I think they're actually doing that. And that's why I feel that there is that progression. And I am a believer of what is going on at the moment with Arsenal.
Yeah. Before I ask G very quickly, I just want to quickly get into Luke's one. You can't run off it. I get that. And how we were being wrong when Stan was in control. I happily say this on camera. Stan is useless. Josh is very, very different. He loves to iron out the little crinkles, which is why he literally come over to England to sort out an issue. He's got a delegation going out to Dubai today to, I think, set up some more sponsorship deals, some more commercial deals to make our budget bigger, because that's the only way you can do it. So we're going to be have a bigger budget every summer. That's how we're going to be self-sustainable. So there's going to be new contracts being signed in the next few weeks. They will be announced. So Josh understands that it's nothing like American sports. So he literally comes over here to iron out the crinkles when it needs to, and he does a very good job. Stan wouldn't. Stan would literally just stay in America and go, yeah, couldn't be bothered. So yeah, I'm under Josh. I have absolutely useless. Too nice for Stan, Bobby. Yes, I have to admit, but I have to be kind of nice. But he is useless for me. Stan is old, but not useless. He is pretty useless, if I'm honest. When it comes to Arsenal Football Club, he's useless. When it comes to his stuff over there, yeah, he loves it and gets involved. But when it comes to Arsenal Football Club, he was useless. G, patience, not patience, believer. Sorry, I'm losing track of the songs now. Why are you such a believer, or you are not a believer?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a believer in Arteta, because I genuinely don't know whether we're going to win major trophies under Arteta. I'm just happy with the job he's done so far. In terms of criticizing him, of course we can criticize him season on season, game by game, etc. And obviously, as fans, we have every right, every individual right to criticize Arteta and the players, and the club and the board, all of them, because we love our club. And it is all about opinions. At the same time, right now, I'm just happy with the job he's done. Am I disappointed about certain things? Yeah, I am. I'm disappointed we're out of the Carabao Cup. I'm disappointed that we're out of the FA Cup. I'm disappointed that we lost the Premier League last season. But when I look at the whole picture of what he's done in terms of progression at the club since he's been there on and off the pitch, I still think there's more in his favour than what goes against him. When I kind of weigh it all up and I look at the big picture. But in terms of being a believer in him, I mean, I need to know the context of what that is, because do I believe he's the right man for the job right now? Yes, I do. But do I believe he's going to be the manager to take us on to not only challenge but win the Premier League and win the Champions League? I don't have a Scooby-Doo, mate. I don't have a clue. Because I just don't know. You know, he's a relatively new manager. You know, we're relatively a young side, and I genuinely don't know if he has what it takes. I think what he has done is he's assembled a very good squad, a very young squad, a very promising squad, a squad with really good potential. Will he be able to take us over the line and win us a Premier League or a Champions League, if not both? I genuinely don't know. So I can't say I honestly sit here and believe that he will win us the Premier League or Champions League. So I'm not a believer in that sense. I'm still waiting to be convinced with that. But in terms of, do I believe he's the right man for the job right now? Yes, I do.
Okay, fair enough. Thumbs up. I know you're a believer.
Do you know, I think I'm a believer because I quite like what G was saying. I also feel this team here, is it Arteta's fault we're in this position at the moment, or is it the players? At the moment, I'm leaning, and I'm not saying the players are bad, but I just lean a bit more towards, if the players had done what they had to do on the pitch, we wouldn't be in this position. Equally, if you gave Arteta Man City and Pep Arsenal, would Arteta win the league with City? Most probably over Pep at this Arsenal team, because this Arsenal team is just not ready yet to win the league. I don't feel we can nick it 100%. We can steal it. We had a good go last year, a bit like Leicester a few years ago. But if you put that Leicester team in 4 out of 5 seasons, they probably weren't going to win the league. Do you know what I mean? But it's that 1 year it all came together at the right time. Last year, the right time was quite good for us because Liverpool fell off, and Liverpool look almost like they're back at the moment. So if this Liverpool team was in last year, it would have been a 3-horse race, not a 2-horse. So you never know. Do you know what I mean? But for me, he's taken us this far. Can he take us to the next stage? I don't know. And I understand why people will say, if you can't take us there, get rid of him now and we get someone else in. But have we given him the opportunity to really, if he has 4 years at crack at the Premier League and can't get over the line, then we can turn around and say, actually, he's had 4 years challenging. He can't do it. Like, he's just not there. But at the moment, it's a bit too early for me to say that he can't do it. So, yeah, I think, again, I like what he's done with this team. We had no assets when he came. And this is why the problem with FFP for us now is because we couldn't sell a player. Like, everyone just walked out on a free. Whereas now he's given us some assets. Do you know what I mean? When we go to sell one of these youngsters, Saka, Martinelli, whichever one it is, Saliba, hopefully not him, but you never know. But if we do have to sell one of these players, we should be looking at 80s to 150 million, which has come a far way. And I think, again, a lot of the criticism, I look back at Wenger. I love Wenger, loved him. But towards the end, there was some mad decisions getting made. And it's, yes, not all Arteta's signings have worked out. Not every signing works out. Again, you look at Liverpool. They signed Keita. No, is it Keita? Yeah, Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain cost 100 million. So no difference to Havertz and Vieira. Do you know what I mean? No difference. So, but the difference is Shaqiri came in there, didn't really do much, but Mo Salah and Mane were firing. So you didn't really look at the rest of the squad as that they've been bad buys, because the other two were so good and they got lucky. It was always available and they carried on firing. Again, if some of our players were firing this year, we wouldn't be looking at Havertz to make such an impact this year, because if Partey's fitting, Rice is playing, Havertz can now just come into the league, do you know what I mean, the team slowly and work his way in. I mentioned it in a comment the other day. No one looks at City's spending 100 million on, or 78 million on their left back Guardiola, because everyone else is doing their job. Like, he's being afforded time to come in and settle into the league. No one mentions Sergio Gomez, who cost them 25, 30 mil last year, who doesn't get a kick. Calvin Phillips doesn't get a kick, and they spent, 50 mil maybe on him? 45, because everyone else is doing their job. So I get why we put pressure on Arteta. But do you know what I mean? This happens all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Every club a manager's under pressure. I just feel we're just being a bit too reactionary with him, because we've had a bad run of 5. If you think back a month ago, Gary Neville saying that City's still hungry. Do you know what I mean? Because they had a little bad dip. Every team's going to go through it this year. So, yeah, I feel it's just, whether it's Arteta or not, sometimes just go with what we're going with and let them work it out together. And if it doesn't happen, then yeah, by all means, we move on from him. Again, I'm with everyone. It's not Arteta FC, it's Arsenal, and whatever's best for Arsenal, I'm with. So I've got no issues with people, do you know what I mean, having their say so, but let's just take a bit of time with it. Like, it's a bit of a bad run at the end of a great 2023, in all honesty.
That's the thing, man. It's just I've got so many years of watching this team, you know, do things and not do things, go through bad patches, get out of them and then win things. I mean, you know, we can go back to 88, 89. Sorry, no, what am I talking about?
I don't know why you're talking about that season, mate.
No, 98. Was it 97, 98? I think we lost before we went on a mad run where we clawed back 12 points against Man U. We lost 3-0 at home to Blackburn. And everybody was losing their minds. And that was in the age before, you know, the internet. It was just the newspaper. All the media were talking about this team's done and da-da-da-da-da. And we went on a mad run without Ian Wright. And with a long time without Dennis Bergkamp. But we still, all right, fair enough, Wenger was at the top of his pomp or whatever. But do you know what? We still pulled something out. And I believe that, you know, listen, as long as if we're having our blip, I'd rather have it now than we have done at the end of the season and the last 2 seasons.
No, fair enough. G, I'm worried about you, obviously, being a teacher and stuff. Do you need to go now before we get into the next questions?
How many questions we've got left?
I think it's either 2 or 3. I'm not 100% sure without quickly going through the slides.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably call it a night at this point.
Yeah, right, mate.
Because, yeah, bruv, tomorrow I've got a 5-period day. We've got to get up at 6 a.m. So, yeah.
Yeah, mate.
It's one of them ones. But, yeah, no, it's been
where can I find you, mate?
Nice. Thank you so much, Bobby. Obviously, Gumzar, Canners, and obviously Niger in his absence. Absolute pleasure jumping on the stream. Thank you to obviously everybody who's commented. I know some of the comments, obviously the likes of Tony. I know you don't agree with everything I say, but it's all love, bro. Don't watch that. It's all good. It's all about opinions, man. That's why we're here. So yeah, no beef from me. Just everybody's entitled to their opinion. But yeah, you can find me obviously on the Armoury with the rest of the Armoury crew. I'm gonna try and get on here as much as I can moving forward, just adjusting to the new job. But yeah, if you want to interact with me, predominantly I do all my interacting on X. So my handle is just at @GTalksArsenal. It's at G's Talks Arsenal. It's not at D Talks Arsenal. Yeah, none of this delusional business. Yeah, Dan Wheatley, whatever your name was. It's G Talks Arsenal. Okay, so yeah, have a good evening, everybody. Take care. Peace out.
Cheers, Jay. Thanks, mate. Speak to you later.
Good seeing you, bro.
Right.
No worries. Take it easy, man. Peace.
So, I because I know how much my partner needs to sleep, I was thinking of G. So, right, let's get into the next question. If I could turn back time from
That's my son.
Right. The reason I'm asking this, do you feel that Arteta has made mistakes? And if so, can you name your top 2? So, Gumza, can you think of
top 2 mistakes? Yeah, the first one's Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Knowing the financial pressures we have now, at the time, 30 million doesn't seem like much. But that's a big one. That 30 million now can bring in one of these strikers we're talking about, or do you know what I mean? So knowing what I know now with FFP and talking to Bobby, and he gives me the breakdown of why we can't get this one done, why we can't get that over the line, why we have to do installments, that 30 million would have gone a long way. So to keep him for an extra year and then not use him, and then he leaves for next to nothing, or he maybe left for nothing. I can't remember, went on loan and then left the following year. That one is a bit of a red herring. And I don't think Havertz is bad, but I think the wage he's put him on is the big issue. So I'm not too fussed on the 65. That's the kind of going rate. I was frustrated we didn't go for Maddison. But someone's put some good ones in there. I was just seeing as well. But I've got to stick with that one. I think the wage for Havertz means that we're not going to be able to move him on very easily if it doesn't work after 3 seasons. We have missed out on some big players. But again, I don't know. We all hear the links we get. I don't know how true some of them are. So Bobby will be able to fill us in more. And again, I'm thinking Isaac, Kudos, Paqueta, Gomez, because again, those 4 have come to the Prem and actually done really well. So I think those 4 would improve us, but I don't know how close we were to even bidding for them. But yeah, I think my main 2 would be that 30 million for Maitland-Niles and what that might have helped us do in the market. And then I think Havertz's wage is a bit concerning for me. Long term, that might come back to bite us.
Okay, I'm going to push back a little bit. I know Havertz and the type of person he is, and if Bayern Munich were to offer us a deal, he would happily go to Bayern Munich, no issues. He'd take
less wages.
Yeah, he'd take less wages, because I do think he'd absolutely smash it at Bayern Munich. He would be amazing.
I would too.
No, but I would say, because like Havertz isn't money mad. He's not. You know, he hasn't asked again for this money, like he didn't ask to come to Arsenal. Canners. So if you could turn back time by Cher, I can imagine you in the wig. Actually, I can imagine you singing it karaoke.
Thank you. Thank you.
But what 2 mistakes do you think Arteta has made?
They're quite recent, actually. I'm going to keep. It's literally this season. So the first one, I think, with Trossard. Okay, now hear me out. Pre-season, I thought he was brilliant. Okay, and his form to me was something to behold. I thought, do you know what, we've got a different player here. He's doing something, and then bam, start the season, he benches him, but he comes on again and he scores the equaliser in the Charity Shield. And I just thought, do you know what, give him a run of games, and let him kick on. That for me was his first mistake. And I think if we could turn back time, I would start Trossard for the season and give Martinelli, make him earn his place back. Because I just thought at the start of the season, Trossard was firing. He was scoring goals, important goals as well. The equaliser against Chelsea as well, coming on. And he was actually someone who was turning games. So I believe that's... Right now, he's a shadow of himself, and I think he's probably coming a little bit disillusioned with what's going on, and he's probably come to the reason. Okay, well, I thought I was competition for Martinelli, but if Martinelli's fit, he's playing Martinelli, and I think that's wrong. We all at the start of the season wanted players to be coming in, and everyone been playing on merit, and I don't think that's the case. And I think that has probably compounded Martinelli's poor performance because he knows that he's playing. He doesn't see or feel the need to kind of, oh my God, do you know what? I better perform. Obviously, I'm speculating, but that's what I'm seeing with the treatment of Trossard. I think if he had started him this season, gave him a run of games, it might be different. The second one, for me, as much as I actually think he's... I personally feel he's a better goalkeeper than Ramsdale. I don't think he moves the needle enough for us to have spent that money or potentially spend that money on a keeper of Raya's ability. I just don't think he moves the needle enough. Yeah, that's it really. I just don't think I think a goalkeeper needs, if you're going to get a replacement goalkeeper, I could straight away in Ramsdale's game, first debut against West Brom, you straight away saw the difference he made when he come on as opposed to Leno, and Leno couldn't get his place back. But I actually don't think as much as you can look at stats and sometimes you might think, okay, the numbers look good or whatever. However, I just don't think he moves the needle enough to warrant ousting Ramsdale as number one. Now, if you maybe a player like a keeper like Edison or Alisson was available, that's a different ball game. But I just don't think or feel that there's many keepers out there that moves the needle further than what those two would do to a Raya or a Ramsdale. So I think that might be a little bit of an issue for me.
Okay, fair enough, mate. Tony's saying here Ramsdale and keeping Nketiah. Not signing Guimaraes, signing Havertz, says Tammy. What else has been said? Tony was expecting you to say party.
What if you could turn back time? Yeah, he wouldn't have done that baby reveal, innit? And kick that. I reckon that's when he done his bloody hamstring or whatever, innit? Kicking the balloon, wasn't it, or something like that? That was a bloody high kick, man.
Brenny says here would have had Party in the midfield instead of this inverted right back stupidness. Yes, I know we beat Forest, but Party is now right back.
Yeah.
Agree with Canners on.
Can I throw one more in there, Bobby? Actually,
yes,
I'm
go on,
going
mate.
to take my Havertz wage out. Playing
Okay.
Saliba in that Europa League match last year, was it Sporting? Was it Sporting last year we played and got beat by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we ended up injuring Tomiyasu and Saliba in the same game.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Saliba done his back against Fulham.
Yeah, and he played him
And
again,
then
didn't he, in that one?
Right. Yeah.
And that's when he went, and we never saw Saliba again for the season. And that,
Yeah.
I think if we had kept Saliba fit, that might have been the one to get us over the line. So, yeah, again, it's becoming over-reliant on some of the players. We might be seeing that with Saka at the moment. That's another issue of mine. But again, the squad wasn't great, was it? So there's no one else to play there. But yeah, for me, we lost the game anyway. So to lose two crucial players and lose the game anyway, it's just a double whammy.
No,
I think the party right back inverted thing was due to the issues going on with Gabriel at the start of the season.
No? At the end of last year, wasn't it?
Arteta was convinced that this will work, and it's just stupid. And there was a chance that Gabriel was going to be sold. There was meant to be a big offer coming in, didn't come in. There was meant to be one coming for Gabriel again this window, but the team for some reason has pulled out straight away. Don't know why. I think they've obviously got their eyes on someone else. So yeah, Gabriel wouldn't.
And is why is his head being turned?
It's more Arsenal being interested because it's going to be about the last summer. It was meant to be 90 million that was meant to be coming in for Gabriel, which, to be fair, is hard to turn down for a centre back when you can replace him for someone that's 50. So there's £40 million profit there. And then the one that was meant to come in was 100, I think, but it hasn't come in at all, and I don't think it will. So yeah, but it just says everything about how good Gabriel has been the past two seasons for me. And I know we all love Saliba, but Gabriel for me has been the most important defender for me, because he's just so solid. There is things that annoy me about him, but there is for most players, if I'm honest. The last one, someone new by Hosier. If this is a big if. So it's a massive if for anyone that trying to clip me here. Big if Arteta was to be sacked, who would you want? I'm going to start with you, Canners.
Oh,
because I know Gums is going to think about it a little bit longer. I can see him picking up there now.
I have two names. To be honest.
Okay, you're allowed to. Okay, Gums can have two as well then.
Okay, Zidane or De Zerbi?
Why Zidane?
I just think that, do you know what? There's something about respect that players look up to. And this is someone who I feel players would absolutely respect and would want to play for and run through walls for, etc., etc. You know, there's no BSing with Zidane because he's done it all. He's won, even as a manager. He's won the Champions League multiple occasions. As a player himself, he's highly decorated. I just think he just oozes and respect. And for a professional footballer and for a place like Arsenal to get in the best players, I don't think anyone would cross paths with him. For the simple fact, it was just pure respect there. He obviously has to have a technical, be surrounded by a great tactical coaching team, but I just feel, I just think it would work. It worked at Real, where he had obviously big players playing for him and going the extra yard for him. And I just think that, as long as he can get the players that he wanted at Arsenal, it could work. De Zerbi, though, is obviously someone I just feel tactically. I just think he's brilliant. The resources that he has to work with and the results that he gets. Obviously, he's highly aided and abetted by his scouting team. But I just think he's very tactically astute, and I do rate him the things that he's done. Even the conversation he had after they got beat by us 2-0, you could see what his game was, but they just couldn't implement it. But at the same time, that's when we was at the top of our game.
Fair enough. Before we come to Gumza, I just want to quickly comment on some of these stuff, because I know that Temi is saying Zidane, Hansi Flick, not for me. And look, everyone knows I'm part German, not Hansi Flick. Nagelsmann, I would actually be very interested in Nagelsmann. He'll be at Germany for about 2 years. I don't think he'll be there for very long, to be honest.
I was going with managers that I feel we could get.
Yeah, well, we could get both of those quite easily. If I could turn back time, get Edu to buy the person that I will never mention on stream, Moss. You know the rules. The rules still stand. But yes, I know what you're on about. And yes, it would have been a good buy back then. But it's strange that still no one has bought him. There's got to be, and this is not me like trying to wind you up, Moss. There's got to be a reason why no one has bought him. There's got to be. I personally don't know what it is, but there's got to be something about him. I personally think he fades in a lot of games. I watch him, enough to go. He looks busy, but he's not actually doing anything. And I don't like that about players. They just look busy. They're just like, oh, look at me, I'm running. But are you actually running into space, or are you just running for the fun of it, or keeping warm? Those type players kind of annoy me. Zidane. Right, Zidane would be very good for Arsenal. Now, the reason I say that is because it would open a new door to players that Arteta would never sign.
Yeah.
That's not me being horrible to... well, yeah, both, I suppose. But also, Arteta has this big no-no book. There's certain players in there that he would never sign. Zidane would, because he could handle them. Now, if you imagine going down a dark alley, would you rather walk the way that Arteta is walking up towards you? Would rather face Zidane in a dark alley? I'd rather face Arteta personally than face Zidane down a dark alley. And Zidane for me, and when I was a kid, I was one of those. Was it just we were just called the junior gunners, weren't we, in the program when we were kids? I remember when Wenger joined, I happened to be the junior gunner that was in the actual program when he joined. And Zidane, Lizarazu, and I still can't remember the third player, were the players I recommended to Wenger to sign at the time. And Zidane was at Bordeaux at the time.
I remember that. And there was a lot of talk, wasn't it, that we were trying to get him.
Yeah, and look at Zidane now. I just wish he listened to... I can't remember how old I was. How old was it? When did Wenger come?
96?
Yeah, so I was 16. I was 16 at the time. So yeah, I just wish he listened to me.
Yeah,
it's bad. But Lizarazu as well, who went on to do great things as well.
Yeah.
Big up to Lizarazu. But yeah, Zidane. Yeah, and who was the other one you said? De Zerbi. Yeah, I have no issues with De Zerbi whatsoever. Ancelotti, not for me. I'll be honest. He's starting to get into his retirement village now. I think he's signed 1 year deal with Real Madrid now, so he'll be there, and then he'll start doing his. I think he's going to go to the national team after that, if I'm honest. Zidane can attract players too, but he made it clear he definitely has an issue living in England. That is a big problem. You weren't keen on those names when you asked me.
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah, Canners.
I'd still not two managers.
What? No, I said in place of Arteta right now. No, Arteta, I think is doing a good job. I think if he was to go, then yeah, maybe you could, have those. I'm not convinced by either of them actually would do a better job than what Arteta's doing. That's how much I actually feel that Arteta is doing a decent job, in my opinion.
Yeah. Luke, Moss is, I'll be honest, Moss does more than what most agents do. And when it comes to him, I love his passion for him and I've got no issues with it. But honestly, there's obviously something not there because the amount of teams that needed strikers and need strikers as well all over Europe, Jonathan David is never really mentioned. And it concerns me that he's not, because I know the scouts and I know them very well. And there's something that must be in that report that I'm not privy to that says, no, keep away. So I don't know. I'm trying not to upset Moss. I know Moss will always have a go at me for something. Cannons in if Arteta out, says Moss. Basically, with Dark Alley, it was dating women would go. Right, okay. We're going different.
Moving on.
If not actually, then me. Yeah, Tony, I did see your comment earlier about you were being the one that we were lining up. Yeah, I didn't want to tell that it was you, but yeah, you've done it. Gumza, your two managers now, please, mate.
So the De Zerbi one stylistically makes sense. You know how he likes to play football. He's working with less tools than a lot of the other managers, and he's playing a brand of football, which, do you know what I mean? When it works, it's brilliant. So for me, that makes sense if the team we got now with his management style, and as much as he's at Brighton now, I do think he is a very, very good coach. And again, sometimes we don't respect people's history and pathway to get where they are. So I wouldn't have no issues with De Zerbi coming in. The second one, which I don't think will happen now because I know he's just got another job, but Luciano Spalletti.
Okay, yeah.
I feel the brand of football he had Napoli playing with is maybe a little bit what we could do, just a bit more high energy, a bit more direct. Again, didn't have the greatest of teams, but the way they played, it was nice on the eye, wasn't it? So yeah, for me, he'd be someone I'd look at. A lot of the older style managers, so like you're saying, Ancelotti's and Mourinho's, I think they don't want any of them. Yeah, if someone called Simeone the other day, and if you find this football we're playing boring with Arsenal, then you just get Simeone and you'll be falling asleep. Conte and them guys. I think after Wenger, I was happy for a Conte or one of those more defensive-minded managers because Wenger was so just fluid football. We didn't work on anything. We didn't try and nullify a team. It used to frustrate me. But yeah, now I wouldn't want to go for one of them defense-minded coaches. So yeah, for me, Spalletti would have been a good shout. But I think he's just taken the Italy job, hasn't he, recently?
Yeah, he's doing something, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think he was meant to take some time out after won the league, but I think he's just signed for Italy. He's just taking a national job. So yeah, but yeah, that would have been two on my wish list.
Okay.
I do like, don't get me wrong, I love Zidane, but again, it's an easy option, and like you said, he probably don't want to come to England. So
no, he doesn't like the cold. Bless him.
Yeah.
I haven't trashed any Canadian. I'm just saying that Jonathan, because I'm trying to protect myself here, right? I know Lille don't want that much. I think it's 65 million, which isn't a lot of money. If you think about Ivan Toney, 100 million, right? Jonathan David, 65. We're not even wanting him. And he's a younger version of Toney, in my opinion. And we don't want him. So there's got to be something in that scout report that says something bad about him. I don't know what it is. And I'm not trash talking. I'm just saying he currently plays for Lille. The amount of teams that need a striker and wanted a striker, even United, Chelsea, they all want strikers. Chelsea have this monopoly system. They could go and do it by paying God knows what over a certain amount of years. I'm pretty sure they try and do a mortgage when they try and sign a player now. It's like 25-year mortgage, isn't it? But it's got to be something about Jonathan David. That's all I'll say. Ruben Amorim. I like him. I think he's very, very talented.
About him? He's decent.
Yeah, to be honest, I do really think that guy is going to be special.
Oh, I forgot one more.
Go on, mate.
Xavi Alonso. I wouldn't mind having a little poke at that one either.
I need a couple of seasons for him, though.
I predict he will be Real Madrid manager in the next 5 years.
I would just love to have him just to annoy Liverpool fans as well.
I think he's extremely talented. Very, very, very good coach. And I'm not having a pop at Arteta, but I have to say that Xabi Alonso's man management is way better than Arteta. He's just such a pleasant bloke, really is. And I predict great things for Xabi Alonso. And it's unusual because normally the best players don't tend to be the best coaches. It's normally the rubbish.
In England.
Yeah. The rubbish, well, because Wenger was not a very good player, nor was Klopp.
No.
And look at them as managers now; they're good. Obviously, it's slightly different with Pep because Pep was outstanding player and is an outstanding coach. But it doesn't always work that way. Just look at Gerrard. I'm going to leave Lampard out of it because he will come for me. So I'm going to leave Lampard out of it.
Obviously, it goes the other way, doesn't it? I mean, it's like even Maradona was poor as a manager.
Oh, crikey, yeah. But to be fair, he had other hobbies that he liked doing. So that might have something to do with it. He liked to play tiddlywinks. That's what I'm trying to say. Other than that, the best Canadian, Luke, he will be heading to Real Madrid in the summer. I predict it. But yeah, he's quality.
Where they getting money from that? Flipping heck.
Well, wait and see. I wanted Ancelotti at the time, Luke, and Everton got him. Inter so happy they got to John Buchanan. You are not there. You are not where? Where am I not there? No, what I'm saying is, I know that there's been over 20 clubs that have scouted Jonathan David. None of them have signed him. Not even continued the interest. There's got to be something. I'm not saying that I think he can't use his left foot or something. I just don't know what it is. And I'm hoping that you one day tells me what it is, because I find it a little bit odd, if I'm honest, the amount of teams that need strikers and no one seems to go for him. I find it really odd. Why I send him Cannon? Okay. Xabi Alonso, fantastic. Leverkusen, again, needing to step up with respect to bigger job. I do think he'll do it. I think will be a legend at some point. Arteta's management was good, then he got big-headed. Real Madrid equals money their local government. Yeah, less said about La Liga, the better, because I don't want to get into trouble.
Can I ask you, both you two a quick question, just a quick name? So if ever, I don't know, pre-Wenger or after Wenger, if there was one manager you could have had managing Arsenal, who would it have been?
Pep. Would have been Pep. That. Okay,
do you know what? Take Pep out.
It's only because it was available, wasn't it? Like it was. Yeah. I don't know if it was ever on the cards, but there was that period where he left Barca.
Yeah,
and it was like Wenger was
not allowed to pick Pep. Was there ever a manager you just said, "Oh, would love to have that guy managing Arsenal"?
I'm going to be controversial.
Oh, I'm going to be interested to see if you say the person I'm thinking.
I would have took Jose.
Oh, no.
There's something about that guy. I hate him, but if he's on your team, you can't help but love him. And I think, again, there's periods of times where he wasn't far off it. And I think he might have had that little magic dust just to get us over the line with certain things. But yeah, it's probably an unpopular opinion.
Can we time travel in this scenario?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I'll tell you who I would love to have been, and it's going to be, people are going to hate me for it, but Sir Alex. Because he would have set us up for years as well, because of what he's done with the academy. I just think he would have put the Hale End on another level. I know it's really good now and got some great quality there, but I just think he would have got that Hale End just that little bit further up, where we would have been self-sustainable quicker than we are now, because we're still not there. Unfortunately, it's kind of annoying. Probably going to say Poch. Never. That's like a rude word for me. Klopp, I love his heavy metal stuff about him. That is hilarious. I absolutely find it. I'm a big heavy metal fan, so I absolutely love that. But yeah, if it was one person for me, Sir Alex, because I just think he would have just set us up for years.
Yeah.
We wanted Sir Alex before we George Graham. Apparently, there's a few people I could ask about that. I don't know if that is the case because Arsenal have always tried to employ someone that's had something to do with Arsenal. That's been our way for years. Yeah. So if he was to be a great manager, because obviously he's not a great manager, Dennis Bergkamp obviously would be for me. That's just me because I just think he's just amazing. I love him. I would, unfortunately, his son's not doing as well as I would like. He's going at Bromley.
Big name to live up to, all right.
Yeah. He's not even playing for him, and bless him. But I do hope he makes it. Guys, over 2 hours. Do apologise. I've tried to make it as light-hearted because obviously this could have got really deep and really hopefully it hasn't got that like that. I thought Bobby would have gone for bridesmaid manager. She like bridesmaids. You're not funny. Love you though, Chris. Canners, thank you ever so much for coming on. I do apologise. It's been over 2 hours. But where can they find you, my friend?
You can always find me on X at you see there at Canners 2204 or on the Armoury as per usual. That's where you can find me. But this has been an amazing therapy session, so I thank you all. The comments have been blowing up, and it's just been amazing. So it's just been, you guys make the show, and it's for you.
Yeah. Guys in the comments, I know normally I bring up every single one, but because I wanted people to talk and I didn't want us to be distracted by comments coming up, I just wanted their answers, so I do apologise. Before I come to Gumza, I know that Moss has just come in with this, and to be fair, I would like to go back to the agents and ask them if it's the price tag. Wonder if it's too much of a risk for whatever it is that isn't liked about him. I wonder if the price tag was lower, would they go in for it? That I might ask that question, mate, and I might get back to you about that, to be fair, because you might be spot on. Gumza.
So yeah, you can find me fighting all the Arteta haters. I'm behind Arteta with my stick, waving it around. If you want to have some fights with me, just say Arteta out 3 times and like Beetlejuice, I'll arrive ready to fight. But no, I'm on X, not much, but I'm around. Obviously, you catch me on the Armoury when I'm available. But yeah, big up everyone. Big up Bobby as well. Just got to say, I've called him. I don't actually know if Bobby's a real person. Bobby is AI.
That's so true.
I don't know how he does it all. Watch alongs, the slides, everything he does. He's taken Armoury to another level. And we're just, as I said, I think he's just computer generated. I don't even know how he has so much time in the day or what. But yeah, Bobby, massive respect to yourself, man. Seriously, it's another great stream.
Yeah, so, absolutely banging. Amazing.
Thank you, Gums. I appreciate that. But I am real, I promise. I do believe.
Can you picture yourself for something?
And trust me, if I wasn't real, I wouldn't choose ginger hair. I'll be honest, because it's given me some issues over the years. I would not have chosen ginger to be an AI. Most greats are bad coaches. Is Quiff. Yeah, to be fair, most are. It's weird. Obviously, you take Pep out of that as well because he was a great player. I thought he was fantastic. I loved watching him. He was always someone I brought on FIFA as well as a player. I loved him. True Galactico, Alfonso, best in the world. Yeah, he will, for me, sign for Real Madrid. Let's have a look, see if thanks, guys. If you don't agree, doesn't mean you're wrong. Exactly. That's why I tried to put it in a light-hearted manner. I didn't want it to be, didn't want to be too bad. Colm told us Bobby lives backstage on street. I really don't. I promise you, I don't. But guys, I'm trying to think when I'm going to be back. I will be back on Saturday. Saying that I work right. I'm doing Arsenal versus Watford watch along on Sunday. 4th round FA Cup for the women's. We might see Emily Fox make a debut. That could be interesting. Diego Simeone, Canners, and everyone. Arsenal says no, but the Argentinian George Graham, and he says, "I'll be honest. I don't think Diego Simeone could work with Josh. I know Josh's character. I don't think that would go." If I'm honest, Josh probably. I don't know. How does Josh seem to you, Canners? I want to see what you think. What kind of person do you think Josh is from what you've seen of him?
It's quite hard to gauge because I mean, like, he gives a good PR kind of front in terms of what, you know, he talks a good game for what he wants for the fans, but I can actually see him being quite ruthless, you know, behind the scenes, because he probably is under pressure actually to prove something to his dad, maybe, to be successful. So I could see him actually really diving, you know, head first into this Arsenal thing and treating it as his pet and wanting it to be highly successful. So he's probably highly driven with this. He's a good talker.
He is. Gumza, what do you think?
Yeah.
Does Joss's?
Yeah, I like the way he comes across. He seems in control. Like, he's one of them people, he doesn't have to shout to gain authority, if that makes sense. He seems like he kind of, he looks like a tall guy anyway, so he walks through and there's a presence when he's there, isn't it? So I like the fact you can see him, he's very present at the club now. I think that's been a massive difference. And between whatever it is, whether it's them throwing money in or if it's Arteta getting something out of this squad, I haven't heard Kroenke out in a long, long time. In fact, it was in a Pro Evo game. A banner was Kroenke out in the Pro Evo game. Shows you where this club was. So again, it's helped him putting money, them actually backing up their talk and getting Arteta players and also Arteta delivering. But since maybe over a year now, I haven't really heard any Kroenke out, which is a massive turnaround from the protest. Do you know what I mean? So, you got to give him credit for that because it's not an easy job to do. We still hear how United fans feel about their management and they spend more money than us. So it's not about throwing money at it. It's about doing what's right for the club, and they're getting more decisions right than wrong. So again, if they were to pull the trigger on Arteta, I have a bit more faith in Josh Kroenke that he's done his due diligence and he knows what's coming next. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction. Like I have a lot more faith in these guys.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Josh is epic. He's my age, legend. Really, really funny to talk to as well. I know he's actually spent a good 3 weeks watching footage of Arsenal, watching interviews with fans before KSE even bought the club, just to understand Arsenal more. I know he's watched Fever Pitch once as well, but he got a good grasp of like what it is to be a fan in football in England. Obviously, he knows American sports, and they're slightly different there than what we are here. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, American fans, by the way. It's just we're different. It's like having a pet dog. They mean everything to you here. Our football team means everything to us, like passionately. I've got Highbury's literally above my bed. That's another Highbury. I'm passionate about it. Means everything to me.
It is our first love, isn't it? It is. I don't care.
Well, apart from Emma, my son, yeah.
No, that's not the first. No, that's your first love. The longest relationship is with Arsenal, isn't it? Like,
yes.
From mum and dad, my longest relationship, something I get to pick, was Arsenal. So,
same.
Just on Josh as well. I think actually having the foresight to rebuild the squad, because papering over the crack wasn't working, and we could have got another manager in, just throwing a bit of money at again. We've got some good players, we make it work. But the fact they backed the process, whoever the idea it was, whether it was Edu, Arteta, or the Kroenke, they had a plan, and it wasn't just a 1 year plan. It was maybe 5 years. I'm not too sure, but they've got us to this position. So that bit of foresight between a lot of them is really important. And the fact we're having these conversations we've come a long way from where we was, because I wouldn't have thought we'd ever be having this title talk in my wildest dreams when we had Mustafi and David Luiz and those guys at the back. So,
oh my God, yeah.
See, this is what, because I remember Moss mentioning me regarding Wenger, which is why I don't class Wenger as a legend. It's because of that last few years where he put us in this position. If he didn't do that and walked away and left us in a good position, yes, he'd be a legend. But I know he caused this problem, which we're now just about getting out of. That's the problem. It became Wenger FC, not Arsenal FC.
In terms of everyone throws this Arteta arrogance thing around. I know we're over 2 hours, but I'm going to go in there because everyone talks about Arteta's arrogance, and it's there to be seen.
Yeah,
I would say Wenger probably had more arrogance about him in certain respects. there was arrogance of when he says he doesn't prepare Arsenal to play any opposition because we're Arsenal, we're the better team. Teams have to prepare for us, and that used to get us hammered 6-1s and 5-0s and all this stuff. So there was an arrogance there, which again, arrogance is good sometimes. I'm not going to say it's all bad. Jose Mourinho is very arrogant and he backs it up, but there was arrogance there with Wenger. Also, there was an arrogance of holding on to players, believing that he can keep them and get them to sign a new contract. And it was those decisions which have absolutely left this club on the floor, because the amount of quality players that walked out on a free. I even look at the Alexis situation. I'm not signing. We had 60 million on the table from City. We could have sold him and his legs were gone and brought in Mahrez. We didn't do it. We held on for 6 months, get Mkhitaryan. Mahrez then goes to City. He then wins 4 Premier League titles with City. I'm not saying he won all of them by himself, but he was a vital
big part of it.
Machine. So it's like those, and again, that came from kind of Wenger's arrogance of, again, I know there was restraints with him, and he took a lot of the flack from the board. Like the board hid behind him, I should say, but there was an element of he could have probably made some decisions sooner and kept the club moving in the right direction rather than holding on to players who don't want to be here no more. I think that it stemmed from there, and financially, this is why we are where we are. And we're haggling over £2 million sometimes because we just didn't sell well. So
we haven't sold well for years.
Yeah,
that's 25 years we haven't sold well, which is a long time.
Who's our record sale? Is it still Iwobi and then Overmars or something crazy like that?
Bloody hell.
I think it's like Iwobi, Overmars, and Ox. I think they are 3 record sales. And considering the players we had, like your Fabregas, your Van Persie, Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozils, Armoury, Vieira, all those guys, but you know what I mean? Those guys have left to go to Barcelona and things like that, and Iwobi's our highest transfer fee received. It's crazy.
Yeah. Didn't realize Josh was that old boy. Thank you, Tony, for that. Love you. Unbelievable. People come and go, but Arsenal is always there. Yeah, 100%. Japan signed Xhaka instead of Kante. So many mistakes by Wenger in his later years. This is why I'm quite hard on Stan. If it was Josh that was in charge back then, Wenger would have gone many years before he did. I'll be honest. Still Iwobi, then the Ox, then Badigan. I think. I think that's the order. Yeah, it's a bit disgraceful if you really think about it. With the amount of players we've had and the quality players we've had, that Iwobi is our record sale. It's madness. It's quite depressing as well.
Nelka for many years, wasn't it?
But that was genius. We bought him for like
500,000,
like yeah, and we sold him for. But that was genius, Wenger. But yeah, guys, I'm out because we're 2.5 hours. Love you all, guys. Love you, Gonza. Love you, Canners.
Love you all. Thank you, Bobby.
Speak to you later, Niger. Thank you for coming on as well, mate. Guys, we're out. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.